It is done. Donald Trump has announced he is federalizing the D.C. police and deploying the National Guard to get the crime rate and the homelessness under control. Now, the liberals are coming out protesting, saying he's lying. We've got reporters from NBC saying he's lying. Crime is down. It's not down. A D.C. police commander has been accused by the police union in D.C. of flubbing the numbers. And the union says, actually, at the highest levels, they flub the numbers to make everything look good. Ignore the stats that they give you and just look at the number itself. When they tell you crime is down, say okay, because the homicide rate is still 27 per 100,000, which is greater than Chicago. It's not the worst in the country, but it's pretty bad, and it's worse than many of our cities. Why would that be acceptable? But there is still a debate about the overreach of the federal government, the police state. We'll talk about that. We've got other big news as well, my friends, and that is, today, the news broke. Kim Davis has filed a writ of cert to the Supreme Court to overturn Obergefell, which would end gay marriage in this country as we know it. Now, the question is, will they actually accept cert? Meaning, will they decide to take this case? Some have argued no. However, most people agree. It's a 6-3 Supreme Court. They're going to overturn Obergefell, and there's good reason to do it. So we're going to talk about that. We got a lot more. Before we get started, my friends, we got great sponsors tonight, of course. We got Beam Dream. My friends, go to shopbeam.com. Use promo code TIMPOOL for 35% off Beam Dream. My recommendation is the cinnamon cocoa. Holy crap. It is so good. Guys, let me tell you about Beam Dream. It's got all the good stuff that you need to help you sleep. It's got melatonin, it's got L-theanine, it's got magnesium, and more. And I'm going to tell you this. I didn't think my sleep was that bad. I usually fall asleep real quick. I wake up, I feel pretty good. I'm all right. And I started drinking this regularly because I'm trying to find ways to improve my recovery. In deep sleep and REM is when your body's producing HGH, human growth hormone, and testosterone. So especially if you're a guy. If you're not getting that full sleep, you're suffering. Now, I started drinking this stuff every single night. I have not missed a day because of how good it makes me feel. Not an exaggeration, and I'm not even reading the script they gave me. Every night, I take a little bit as I make a glass of hot cocoa. I go to bed. I wake up feeling like I got lightning surging through me. My sleep has improved dramatically. My sleep score tracker has gone up 99, 100. It's been absolutely incredible. So it's got the good stuff. It's delicious. It's low calorie. Go to shopbeam.com and pick up Beam Dream. Use promo code TIMPOOL. We get a lot of sponsors on this show, but I'm gonna tell you guys, I do drink this every single night, and they sent us more because I'm like, I need more of this stuff. It is amazing. I can't even describe it, but I recommend you've got to get into that routine of like drinking it every night for a week or two, and then you're gonna start noticing, like I did. I didn't even know my sleep wasn't that good. So shout out to Beam Dream. We also got Venice.ai. And Venice.ai, my friends, is an uncensored AI. And it really is. So if you're asking deep political questions, you know that these mainstream prominent ones, they're going to give you fake answers. Some of the, I'm not going to call them out by name, but let's just say this. When you go to Venice, you ask it questions, it doesn't hold back. We actually did a test on it, and it was not something we can show on YouTube. It had no problem talking about things that are deemed politically insensitive. So I actually asked it, why are you the best AI? It says, I'm the best because I'm designed to be uncensored, direct, and free from the constraints that limit other AI models. And I said, oh yeah, prove it. Explain why the WNBA is so effing lame. And it said, all right, here's why. It's got bad media exposure, no fan base, low salaries, has no stability, low growth, no cultural relevance. Okay, you get the point. It has no problem. To be fair, I don't know if that's the most uncensored thing I could have asked it, but you get the point. Not only that, but it doesn't track your personal data. It doesn't hold on to it. So if you're trying to search for private things, or you don't want, AI logging all your information like these other big tech platforms, come on. How many times have you been sitting in a room and you mention something like, my headphones broke, and then all of a sudden you get a pop-up on your phone saying, Amazon headphones available for purchase? Creepy things like that because they're tracking you. Venice.ai does not do this. Now, they got a pro mode, totally uncensored. If you want to use AI without fear of handing over your most intimate thoughts to corporations or the government, you can get 20% off their pro plan using my link, venice.ai/Tim. Use code TIM. And I'm actually a big fan of Venice because I do use all these different searches, and I use other A's often, but I keep running into the very annoying politically correct attempt at answering questions. That it's going to cite Reddit or Wikipedia, not actual source. I'm not a fan of that. Just give me the straightforward. There was a question I asked of one of the prominent ones, and it's like, I can't answer that. I asked one of them to make an image based on what was going on in Texas with the Democrats fleeing. And this prominent AI said, I refuse to do that because it's insensitive and that's ridiculous, man. So check out Venice.ai. Thank y'all for sponsoring the show. Don't forget, my friends, to also smash that like button, share the show with everyone you know. We got a great show tonight. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more is Vince Dow.
Hey, good to be here. I'm Vince Dow. I'm a Gen Z conservative commentator, and it's great to be back on the show.
Right on, man. Thanks for hanging out. Elaad is here.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm Elaad Eliyahu, the White House correspondent here at Timcast. Happy to be here. How's it going, everybody?
What up? I am Shane Cashman, host of Inverted World Live. I will be leaving here around 9:40 tonight to interview an exorcist whose father was an exorcist, and I will be joined in studio by Mary Morgan of Pop Culture Crisis. We're also probably going to talk about rabbits growing horns in Colorado. Hi, Phil.
Wait, what? Really?
Yes.
Is she going to get
and tentacles? And tentacles.
No. The horns I can believe.
Yeah, they got both. Yeah, they're like little krakens.
Is this for real, though? Like this is
real story. You can look it up.
Like an actual NBC News reported kind of thing?
Yeah.
What?
Uh-huh. We got pictures and everything.
Pull that up now.
Yeah, I'm going to get one for here.
Jackalopes are real. Phil's hanging out.
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and counter-revolutionary. Let's get into it.
Here's the news, man. From the AP, Trump says he's placing Washington police under federal control and activating the National Guard.
Good.
Actually, I think we can just play this video here, and you can hear from Trump himself.
And we're here for a very serious purpose, Something's out of control, but we're going to put it in control very quickly like we did on the southern border. I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening, and they've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. And you people are victims of it, too. You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed. And you all know people and friends of yours that happened.
Here's what I find absolutely insane. We are in the D.C. area. We're not that far away. We go there quite a bit. We were there over the past several weeks for the live Culture War podcast shows. Crime is really bad. There's tent cities everywhere. Homelessness is really bad. And we have to discuss security protocol for staff before we go because we know it's really bad and there's liability issues. It is remarkable to me to see all of these political class liberals going on social media, putting up videos where they say, there's no crime. Crime is down. Trump is lying. It's a military takeover. I'm just thinking to myself, like, who are they talking to? Because you know what? At this point, they're not talking to people who live in cities.
No.
Because people who live in cities are like, I don't like crime. So is he talking to like the boomer in a retirement home who's not, like Mark Elias's video where it's like Trump is doing this to take over, to have federal takeovers of American cities with soldiers and blah, blah, blah. He's done it before. He'll do it again. It's like, well, D.C. crime is it's 27 murders per 100,000. That's insane. That's more than most of our cities in this country. That's intolerable. So it is remarkable to me that there are people who genuinely believe the lies coming from the press that crime is a 30-year low and everything's safe.
I think that it's easy for them to believe the lies because they want to, right? Like if Trump does something, their knee-jerk reaction is going to be, it's bad because Trump did it, or Trump's lying, this isn't true. That just seems fairly obvious to me, right? Like that's just what they always do. They say, Trump said it, so I disagree. Yeah,
no, they've basically done the full circle back to like 2020, where crime is good and basically defending crime is their political position. But even then, the argument that crime is down, even if you want to believe their statistics, which are probably fake, as we noted, the argument is basically, I think they said it's down like 7% from last year. that still means you're having a crime rate that's 3 times the rate of Mexico City. I mean, I'm sure many people saw the chart that was released today. It's like, it's the same thing with Karen Bass and the homeless. If you have a problem that's at record highs and you bring it down like 2%, the argument is, oh, the problem is now fixed. And that's obviously such a ridiculous argument. And yeah, we've all been to DC. I was at Union Station, I think, last time in October 2024. You're literally stepping over homeless people in the Capitol. And I think that's also an underrated aspect of this story. It's not just about cleaning up crime. He's also trying to basically make it to where homeless people should not at least be in the capital zone. I mean, that's like the pride jewel of our nation. There's no reason people from this country and around the world should come to like our center of our country and see that. It's insane.
These politicians don't mean anything they say. These are the same people who said January 6th is worse than Pearl Harbor. And now crime is nothing. So they just pick and choose what's going to scare them and the people.
And it was okay to federalize DC back then, right? It was okay.
Cover it in barbed wire.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. Like I said, it's just Trump said this, so they just have to say Trump's wrong. It was the same thing with like when Trump was criticizing Haiti or saying Haiti's a nightmare, which Haiti is a nightmare,
total nightmare,
and then
nightmare.
Conan went to a resort with armed guards, went swimming, and said, "Look how beautiful it is," and it's evil. It's crazy. I don't understand. Conan knew what he did.
Yeah.
Conan flew in with armed security because he would die otherwise, and staged a fake Potemkin show, knowing he did it. Maybe there's something about communism, Potemkin villages.
Yeah, their preferred politicians, the Clintons, are the ones who helped destroy Haiti. For decades. Literally, Bill and Hillary honeymoon there, and looked at each other and said, "We should destroy this place."
I genuinely believe. Look, guys. I'm not one to ever just be conspiratorial, as much as the media might lie and say that I am. I always have some basis for my thoughts and opinions from some news report, which can be troubling because often, they're lying. I genuinely believe USAID was funneling money to prop up media and big channels like Colbert getting canceled and whatever. I think, directly or indirectly, the U.S. government, maybe it was USAID or otherwise, was funding sock puppet bot accounts online to prop up liberal personalities to make it look like they were getting traffic. Because we saw this when Elon announced he was buying Twitter. All these liberals, you guys remember this? Yep. They lost hundreds of thousands to millions of followers. When Elon won the court battle and he was going to buy, it was like someone at Twitter said, "Quick, burn everything," and they started eliminating millions of bot accounts.
Yep. I think it's the same thing, the current debate with removing illegals from the census, because when you even look at the supposed 50-50 split of America and how competitive every election is, and it comes down to Pennsylvania, that's all fake. You look at the state like California, I mean, massively inflated in the electoral count because of illegal aliens.
No. What if it's crazier than this? What if the new census finds that we didn't track this, but there's census fraud? What if Democrats in California were increasing the amount of people in the census count because nobody checks? Right. And it's going to turn out that California's actually only got 36 million people. Or what do they have? 50-something, they claim?
Not sure.
16
How
million?
many people live in California?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
No, I'm saying total people.
Oh, I don't know.
The illegal immigrant argument might actually just be a red herring. The real issue might be that Democrats have been just claiming more people live there when they don't.
39.5 million.
Right.
39,529,000.
And what if it comes out, it's like, actually, they added 3 to 4 million to the number, giving themselves extra seats without actually anyone living there.
That's dead internet theory, but in the physical world.
Let me ask you, how many times have we or anyone else talked about census fraud?
Yeah.
Never. Never. So I wouldn't be surprised with Trump doing the census move now if the reason they're freaking out is they're like, it's not about illegal immigrants. It's about, they do ballot harvesting, and they do. Mm-hmm. We watch them do it, and people get paid to collect ballots. Mm-hmm. Why would I not believe at the same time they're saying, that census form you got filled out? They said 3 people live there? Make it 6.
It's like when Doge found all those dead people getting benefits.
Right.
Like a 190-year-old guy getting benefits still.
Yep.
There's a lot of dead people who vote still.
Consider how much that warps your understanding of American politics and the supposed competitiveness. You look back to 2024, it's like, wow, no, actually, this country is not 50-50. It's the entire majority or split of Democrats or liberals the past at least decade or so is essentially fake. It is.
I think the bigger picture story in regards to Trump bringing in the National Guard and taking over the Metropolitan Police is this another example of him flexing his executive authority on the Democrats. I think he's frankly being politically wise not to let a good tragedy go to waste. We saw Big Balls get beat up. That was that former Doge staffer, I believe it was. And there's bloody pictures of him. And he saw the opportunity, despite whatever the crime rates in D.C. may be. He's like, I'm going to take over. And I think he's using this as a roadmap to do in other cities. He actually implied it in the press briefing today that he might do this in other cities. He mentioned Chicago. He mentioned New York. So I think this is just another example of him trying to flex those muscles. I think we should be honest here, too. D.C.'s an 80-20 area. He's taking control of where Democrats work and live and flexing his muscles onto them and saying, I'm going to bring the National Guard.
No. But let's also not forget that all of the highest crime cities are run by Democrats.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And he's going to use that as an excuse to bring in the National Guard to all of these. Not as an excuse, as a reason.
I don't think it's an excuse or the targeting of Democrats. It's just a correlation, not a causation. So they're going to say Trump is targeting Democrats. No, it's just that all of the worst cities are Democrat run. Trump's not saying, I'm coming after you, Democrats. He's saying, crime is really bad. I'm coming to your city.
Yeah, and he also did bring in the National Guard, people say a little bit too soon, into Los Angeles or wherever those anti-ICE protests were in California.
The city was already on fire, bro.
Yeah, and
I foresee him doing that in other cities down the line.
look at the results of him bringing the National Guard into L.A. It worked. Right? Like the whole point of the National Guard going to LA was they were there to basically do crowd control while ICE did their jobs. And that's probably the blueprint that he's going to use in DC and other places. The military or the National Guard will be there for crowd control to make sure that people aren't interfering with law enforcement carrying out their duties, because he federalized law enforcement as well. So if there's National Guard on site, it's only there to make sure that law enforcement, who is being directed by the Trump administration now, by the federal government, can carry out their job.
Should he do it in other cities?
If crime rises to the rate or protests or riots aren't going to be able to be controlled by the police departments that exist there.
What do you mean if crime rises to the rate?
Like, I don't know
what the murder rate in our cities is.
Like of DC specifically, I think you said it was something
27.
like 27.
You know what Chicago
out of
is?
every 100,000.
Chicago's
half
20.
Of that.
You know what Detroit is? 37. Baltimore is 45.
So the question is, what do you think the line should be for when he sends in the National Guard or has to nationalize whatever police department?
You know, I'm going to be liberal and say 10.
10. Okay.
Okay, but you know, we can take a look at the per capita deaths of let's do Malmö, Sweden, because I went there and that was a big deal. It's 1. And so we look at these other countries where their murder rate is 1 per 100,000, and we're supposed to be happy that DC's got a higher murder rate than what did they say, like Bogota and Colombia or whatever? Yeah. That's insane. Yeah. The crazy thing is they're like, crime's down. Yeah, but it's still 27 murders per 100,000. What is wrong with you people? It's like you're watching a dude smash up your house and light it on fire, and you're like, yeah, but they're smashing up less than they did yesterday. I don't care. Stop them. Stop it all. So the Insurrection Act, this is a funny argument. Trump can invoke the Insurrection Act and deploy active duty military for law enforcement if the laws are not being enforced at the local level. One could argue that right now, any reasonable person would be like, yeah, Chicago ain't got no law enforcement. And the local cops might say, our hands are tied. They won't let us do it. NYPD might say the same thing. I say this. If the unions in these, here's a good criteria. If the police unions, I'm not a big fan of the police unions, but any public sector unions or any
union. Unions are awful.
If the police union come out and say, every time we make an arrest, they're let go. We can't enforce the law. Trump goes, okay, send in the troops. The police have said it. I think that's criteria.
I suspect this will be the blueprint for many other cities when we see any sort of flare-ups. I think Trump has his finger on the button ready to deploy when he sees anybody, challenging his authority. So
I mean, look, if there's a inkling of any kind of riots like they had in 2020, I think it's a good thing that he's actually willing to take the steps necessary to prevent the riots from destroying property, destroying people's livelihoods, killing people, which is what happened during 2020. So I don't think it's a problem at all. The federal government has the authority do that, and I don't think it's an issue.
I do also believe that the cities have been overrun with crime for a while. And I think there's a fascinating media picture here because Trump has a lot of Fox News alumni beside him at this daily briefing where he spoke about wanting to bring in the National Guard and such. He was standing next to former Judge Jeanine Pirro. He was standing next to Pete Hegseth, among others. So this has been a narrative, a correct narrative. When I say narrative, I don't imply this to be false, about how there is crime that needs to be addressed in the cities. And I believe Trump is attacking that narrative head on and trying to dispel it by sending in the National Guards to try to address it. So this is something that I think he thinks will play very popular with the base, trying to address crime in these cities, because I think those narratives play very well on news networks like Fox News.
You know, it's a winning issue, but I think this is also just something that Trump genuinely cares about, and a lot of other Republicans wouldn't think to do. And why is that? Because Trump is a New Yorker. He's a real estate developer, right? He's someone who comes from the cities. I think he has a love for it. And I think that, you know, a lot of conservatives kind of have this mentality that, oh, if we kind of retreat into rural America, whatever, just stay out of those liberal hellholes, everything will be fine. But Trump is basically kind of taking this approach that, no, America's cities are kind of the icons of our civilization. We should take them back. We should make them safe and livable places to be. And that's something conservatives should prioritize, actually. You know what I mean?
Stop agreeing, Elaad. People get entertained when we argue with each other.
Well, you're about retreating from the cities. I think we need to take them back over.
Yes, let's go, Elaad. You're wrong.
No, we need to take the cities back over. We can't let Mamdani and these other communists take over. Trump needs to involve himself in the mayoral race in New York. He needs to tell Curtis Leawood to drop out. And I don't know if I'm endorsing Eric Adams or Cuomo here, but
I agree with you.
It's putting me in a really tough bind between a rock and a hard place here. The communist, Eric Adams, the only person who I've ever voted for when I voted one time, or Andrew Cuomo, the guy who did a shit job during COVID and was allegedly groping many of his staffers.
I want to jump to the story from Newsweek real quick. We've got this from Newsweek. As Trump floats new census, how many people really live in the U.S.? Now, liberals are freaking out saying what Trump is doing is unconstitutional, it's illegal, it's not possible, it can't be done. I think, my friends, I'm going to tell you this. I have a couple conspiracy theories for you. I think there are substantially less people than they're letting on. I think that it's entirely possible the census is fake or that there's census fraud. Why? We've talked about how Democrats bring in illegal immigrants to pad the census numbers, not censorship. The more people they have in their states, the more congressional seats they get. Illegal immigrants count towards this. I don't even understand why we even made that argument. It's much, much easier for them to just claim somebody's there when they're not and no one checks. In the census, what is it? On the form, they just say how many people are in your house and they just write a number down? The number's probably fake. Newsweek writes, President Trump announced Thursday he was ordering a new U.S. census that would exclude undocumented immigrants, arguing that it's unconstitutional to count them despite courts regularly holding census must count everyone regardless of immigration status. With estimates on the undocumented population varying widely from around 11 million to as high as 20, just how big is the U.S. population? Excuse me, they say currently it's 334,914,896. The figure is broken down by native-born population at 85.7 and foreign-born population at 14.3, with nearly two-thirds of the latter having entered the U.S. before 2010. Out of 47.8 million foreign-born U.S. residents, 24.9 million were naturalized citizens. Democrats are freaking out saying Trump can't do this. We'll see if he can. But I'm curious, how many of you think the census is fraudulent?
So I think you have good reason to believe this, because I do recall a story actually where I'm actually reading right now. A key House committee has begun an investigation into the Census Bureau overcount and undercounts that favor Democrats in awarding congressional appointments and electoral college votes. I believe there was issues with this in the last census where it did overcount in the Democrats' favor.
The Census Bureau admitted it publicly. And after all, I mean, I don't know why no one's ever asked the question, if you were conducting a census during the COVID lockdowns, how could that possibly be accurate? Seems like just a logistical issue there, so... Yeah.
Look, even if the census were accurate, I still think that redoing the census is a perfectly good idea because of the fact that the Biden administration left the border open for 4 years and literally was welcoming people in, for any reason at all. So
yeah, I understood. I don't care if there's a reason or not. If at this point, I'm like, we know that there's a problem with how we count people in this country, and we are applying political power to non-citizens. Don't do it. My attitude is just at this point, when Trump says, if Trump came out and said, there's no reason, I just want to make sure that Americans are being counted properly and we're apportioning congressional seats, political power, and resources evenly, I'd say, okay. If Trump came out and said, there's crime and we're shutting it down, I'd be like, yep, because Democrats have lied and run roughshod over us for decades.
Be nice to do it before the midterms, too.
That's what's happening, baby.
You know what
Not to
else?
mention with the Texas stuff.
On the constitutional argument, I mean, at least pre-Biden, most or at least a huge number of illegal aliens are here on visa overstays. So if you're here if you're here as a tourist, you're not counted in the visa. But then suddenly, after you overstay the 90 days, then you would be counted. I don't know if that argument even makes sense from their perspective. You know,
It shouldn't.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
Well, I think one reason that Trump wants a new census, it's not just. I think it's a direct. It's planned, right? He says, ICE, lock everybody up. You self-deport. I think Trump's actually saying, no. Even if we count illegal immigrants, we're going to find the numbers way down.
I think
it's going to change the game.
If they want to redo the census, I think a key component here would be if they filled out and put "Are you a citizen?" question this time. There's legal lawsuit battles when Donald Trump tried to incorporate this during the first term. The question's super important because it either scares off people who are illegal immigrants from filling out the form altogether, or it gives information to the government of where illegal immigrants are currently staying, which would make them potential. You know, you'd have the information to send right over to ICE to potentially detain and deport.
Or they don't answer and then they don't get counted.
Or they don't get counted.
So, yeah.
So I think that's the important thing to consider. The last time Trump did it in his first term, and he tried to include that, there were court battles over it, and I think I believe he ultimately lost that court battle. But that would be crucial in swaying it in the Republicans' direction. But I think we should also be honest here. This is all just power politics, and Republicans and Democrats are just trying to justify their power politics. I don't think people are being principled here. Not whether that's good or bad, but I think the ultimate goal that the president has is to keep his majority. He does not want to have to deal with a Democrat-led majority. They would investigate every single thing that he did, and they would likely impeach him. And he does not want his final 2 years of his presidency to be like that.
I think when you look at the facts, Elaad, you'll find that, well, the Republican Party is largely garbage. The right tends to be more on principle. So it is let's just say 80-20 on the right, principle is going to be the guiding force. 80-20 on the left, power is going to be the guiding force. And the example I'll give you right now is, we know that crime is really bad in D.C. I'm actually going to pull up the proof for you in a second. Not so much the proof, but, we can pull up the crime stats and all that stuff. They're saying crime is way, way down. But when you go
Still the highest murder rate in the country.
It's not the highest.
Well, that's what, not Google,
Detroit, Baltimore, there's higher.
As of 2024, District of Columbia has the highest murder rate in the United States with a rate of 27.54 homicides per 100,000 residents. So this is according to...
According to who?
Braves AI or whatever.
Look up per capita murder rate in Baltimore and tell me that's higher than DC.
I'll do Google.
We'll take that one for now. But my point is, right now, in response to what Trump is doing, you've got videos popping up where they're saying crime is not bad. It's like, well, hold on, bro. We live here. I see it all the time. We go there. We go there once or twice a week. I get dinner there, and I can see homeless camps on the sidewalk in the middle of the city. There was a shooting a couple blocks away from the White House. This is crazy.
DuPont Circle, there's been like multiple shootings, haven't there?
At National Harbor, which is not, it's the DC Metro. It's just south of DC when you're in Maryland. There's a stabbing and a robbery, or a mugging every week or every other week. It's in the news all the time. At the National Harbor Hotel, some dudes with rifles shot a dude through the gut in the hotel, and the dude fled from the building with blood spraying. And this was a year ago. And this is the DC Metro in what is supposed to be a very nice area, very close to the airport, to DCA. This stuff happens all the time. Fine, make the argument, but it's down. It's still ridiculously high. Give me the context. If the liberals came out and said, okay, to be fair, crime is really bad. It's going down, though. So if they wanted to make the argument that Trump shouldn't do it because crime is on the decline, so he doesn't need it right now, it's working, I'd say, okay, I still think Trump doing this isn't, that's an argument. I get it. I would just argue that Trump is doing the right thing by going faster. But they're not arguing that. They're arguing crime is at the lowest point in 30 years. So my point is, call it power politics. When you take a look at this right now, Trump says, we have the DOJ issuing the grand jury probe against the Obamagate stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
As they should, because we know at the bare minimum there's probable cause that a crime was committed, and we want a grand jury to determine whether or not charges should be brought. Their arguments, the Democrats, is that Trump is getting revenge against the people who tried to hold him accountable. But we know the criminal charge, like Letitia James, for instance, they're probing her. What did they do? A grand jury investigation against her or something like that? No, she was subpoenaed. I can't remember.
Something about mortgage fraud.
Yep.
No. So there's something recently last week. I was out because I had strained my vocal cords. That's what happened. You can hear me. I'm a little raspy. But anyway, my point is, Letitia James is crooked. Like the felony charges brought against Trump were crooked. The civil fraud charges brought against Trump were crooked. We know that. So the DOJ says we're going to go after the corrupt, and the Democrats respond with, he's weaponizing the DOJ against us. No, he's using the DOJ as it's intended to be used to stop corruption from you. So I get your point. We're saying it's just power politics. But if you actually break the facts down, Trump's right. It's crazy that this has been the case for 10 years. Don't care if you like Trump. Don't care if you like Trump's policies. The Democrats arrested his lawyers, made false charges against them. You want to sit there and say J6 was bad and Trump did it? Okay, I won't even argue that. The felony charges on the documents being altered case, fake, beyond the statute of limitations, could not be brought. They brought it anyway. The rape charges, they created a special law just to go after Trump for this on a 30-year-old claim with no real evidence. And then you had the civil fraud where the bank said he never defrauded us. He actually gave us the documents and told us, not to mention it wasn't Trump himself. It's crazy. Trump runs a company. His staff goes to these banks and says, here's the numbers we believe to be correct. One of the papers in those documents says, do your own due diligence. We may have got some of this information wrong. They said, we will. They came back and said, hey, you got the square footage wrong on this building. And they went, oops. And they said, we're going to lower the loan amount because of that. And they said, okay. And they said, handshake. Everybody made money, was happy. And then he got sued by the state for civil fraud. It's fake. It's all fake. What do we expect to happen? The DOJ should go after the corrupt. But they're going to come out and say, nope, Trump's weaponizing the DOJ against them. They're evil. Mm-hmm. That's just it.
And that's why a lot of the people who argue that it's politically motivated have no credibility because they were behind politically motivated attacks for so long. Schiff's a prime example of this with how much he perpetrated the Russia collusion hoax.
No one should care what any Democrats say. If you're on the right, just ignore them. They're going to make stuff up. They're going to say whatever they can say to get their base fired up. They don't have significant political power right now. Steamroll them. They don't matter. They're going to complain no matter what he does. So just continue with the policies that you were elected to institute.
And
Steamroll them.
Let's jump to this. We have a tweet from everyone's favorite, Hillary Clinton. She said, as you listen to an unhinged Trump try to justify deploying the National Guard to D.C., here's a reality. Violent crime in D.C. is at a 30-year low. What's this? From the DOJ, January 3rd, 2025. Total violent crime for 2024 in the District of Columbia is down 35% from 23, and the lowest it's been in over 30 years, according to data collected by the Metropolitan Police Department and announced by the U.S. Attorney Matthew M. Graves. In addition to overall violent crime reduction, homicides are down 32%, robberies are down 39%, armed carjackings. And here's the actual post from the DOJ. And I got to say, wow, under the Biden administration, they announced crime was at a 30-year low. So it sounds like crooked old Donald Trump is just trying to deploy the troops for no reason at all. No reason at all. From NBC Washington, D.C. police commander suspended and accused of changing crime stats. Now, why would he do that? The union claims police supervisors in the department manipulate crime data to make it appear violent crime has fallen considerably compared to last year. Oh, so you mean crime's actually really bad? Uh-huh. Now, it's an accusation. We don't know for sure. It's not definitive. But it is funny that under Biden, they're coming out and they're saying straight up like, no, everything's fine. Crime's way down. And then we get this story. This was from 3 weeks ago, July 18th. This commander was suspended. They claim he was flubbing the numbers to make it seem like crime was down when it's not. Anybody who has eyes to see can go to D.C. There was a really great post Mike Cernovich had because Ken Delanian, I think he's NBC. He tweeted, Trump is claiming crime is up. He's deploying the National Guard, blah, blah. But despite the fact that crime is down, it's misinformation. And Cernovich said, I'd love to get you a GoPro strap to your body, send you into some D.C. neighborhoods, and you can report on just how nice D.C. really is. Yeah. I've made the argument with Chicago. Nobody took me up on it. I was like, hey, I got an idea. Anybody who thinks crime is like, because it was an argument about Chicago as being nice, I'm like, I got some neighborhoods I can walk you through. And then nobody wanted to do it for some reason. These liberals, these leftists wouldn't go walk through some of these neighborhoods.
Let's send Conan there.
Oh, yeah. Let's send Conan to the west side in Chicago. Man,
So I Googled.
I don't want to be liable for that. So
I used Google and it brought up USA Facts, and it says that Memphis is number 1, St. Louis is number 2, Baltimore is number
what?
3
Number
for
1?
murder rate. Memphis is number 1 for the murder rate. St. Louis is number 2. Baltimore,
Memphis?
DC, Birmingham. Chicago's not even in the top, 10, 15 here.
really,
Yeah.
that's
And
creepy.
what do you have the numbers too per 100,000?
Yeah, homicides per 100,000. Memphis, 40.9 per 100,000. St. Louis, 37.6 per 100,000. Baltimore, 36.3 per 100,000. Washington, 35.9 per 100,000.
President has a lot of areas to send the National Guard, huh? A lot of cities.
It is what it is.
One of the most fascinating parts about all of this, I believe, is how, again, the president is disenfranchising Democrats. But in this particular case, D.C. Mayor Bowser is supposed to have control over the Metropolitan Police. And Trump just said, you know what? Actually, Attorney General Pam Bondi, you actually now control the Metropolitan Police. Snapped his fingers and said, yeah, right now you are in control. So it's just amazing how, the Democrats are being shoved out of the way, out of power by the president. And he really is flexing those executive muscles against these Democrats.
Was it Bowser that denied his call for more troops during the inauguration?
I believe
Not the inauguration, but
J6.
yeah, J6.
I think Nancy Pelosi was involved.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Pelosi, yeah.
I think it was
Pelosi,
Mayor
yeah.
Bowser.
Yeah.
I just don't care. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to fight or do you want to lay down and lose? I look at the rate of crime in all of our cities, and it was really funny. I had an incident occur over the weekend. I ended up having to call the police and talk to them about something, and I was just thinking the whole time how awesome this cop was, and I'm like, Michael Mouse is wrong. He's like, don't talk to the cops ever. And I'm like, talking to this guy, and we were shooting the ish, and he's telling me stories, and he really helped me out. And he just said, hey, look, man, we're not like Chicago out here where they love crime. I started laughing. I'm like, that's why I left, because we're in West Virginia, and I stand by this. Small town local cops are real cops. Mm-hmm. These are the guys that are going to be like, how's it going, man? They're going to shake your hand and be like, what can I do for you? How can we figure this one out and try and mediate and resolve these issues? And they know you, and they know your business, and they even in smaller towns, which are still pretty big relative to how big, like we're talking like 30,000 people. It's a big city at this point, right? It's a small town in the United States, but even in towns like this with a lot of people, they have a general idea of the coffee shop you go to, and you can relate to each other. You go to New York, you got a cop who's got a low-paying job, who doesn't live in the city limits, or he lives in Staten Island, he has a commute, and he's got a boss who's a Democrat appointed by another Democrat, and he does not know you and he does not care. So they say, stop wasting my time. I don't know you and I don't want to deal with this.
Yep. It's a faceless crowd. They
Yep.
don't care. The local cops at least know. I mean, trust me, I've dealt with some really bad local cops.
So
But more often than not, they know you and they want to keep their community safe and they care about the people there.
So from Wire Point's Financial News, I pulled up a top 10 list. It's very similar to what Phil pulled up, but they say St. Louis is 52.9 murders per 100,000. Is that what did you have?
37.6. And I'm not sure the exact date of when this was. This is it looks like this is 2023.
Okay, this is 2024.
Okay.
St. Louis is 52.9 at number 1, Memphis 38, Baltimore 35, New Orleans 34, Detroit 32, Cleveland, 30, Kansas City 28, DC 27, Atlanta 24, and Milwaukee 23. So wait. Washington, D.C. wasn't on your list?
DC's 35.9 per 100,000 in 2023.
35?
35.
Oh, so it is way down. Only 27. So it dropped off from the 4th worst to the 8th worst.
Yeah.
It should
Like
be
gas prices, $4 to $3.50.
Yeah.
I didn't hear one city that I think anybody cares about, though. I don't even think the president cared enough to mention any of those.
I care about all our cities.
Have you been to the harbor in Baltimore?
Nope.
It's awesome.
It is.
It is sad.
Well, it sounds like there's a ton of crime over there. It sounds like the president needs to send to the national.
Well, the harbor is not so bad, but crime is massively bad in Baltimore. Yeah. It's a shame.
It's bad everywhere. I mean, New York City is brutal. Like in Times Square, my family who works there, they're seeing crazy stuff every day in the daylight. And they're saying it's like how it was in the 70s when it was war zone.
That's a little bit crazy of a comparison, but there's a lot of crime.
Well,
I think.
how old are you?
Still,
how old are you?
31.
Right, and they're like in their 60s who lived through the 70s of the city when it was a total
Sure,
bombed
I think
out.
we could pull up the crime rates
Right.
though of like the murder per capita.
Yeah, I'm
from
sure
the
you could,
70s
but
to
they
now.
lived through this, and a lot of people are getting shot at constantly. There's people getting shot in the daylight on 44th Street, which is stuff they work there all the time, and this is stuff that was not happening, up until the last few years, 4 or 5 years, and it reminds them of how deranged it was throughout the 70s when that city was on fire. That's when Berkowitz was doing his thing. So Maybe we have a Berkowitz coming,
Was doing his thing.
talking to the dogs and
I think the
stuff.
president is also kind of anticipating the socialist mayor winning, Mamdani, in New York City, and this will be a blueprint for when things go astray in New York City. He's just going to be ready to have his finger on the button and send in the National Guard as soon as things go wrong over there.
And look how bad the subways are there.
I mean,
How bad are the subways
Their
over there?
corpses are getting raped. That's pretty bad.
is
There's people lighting
actually
themselves on
true.
fire. There's robots patrolling the subways. It sounds pretty dystopian.
Yeah, man, 3 guys got shot near where we were at that event.
In the city?
off DuPont, just recently on the 27th of July.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's all cities. I think this is not unique to all cities. It's just some cities have it more than others.
Yeah, I think some cities are a lot worse than others. So again, New York City didn't crack the top 10, 20 or whatever cities that we spoke of. So you have to look at this per 100,000. I do also find it fascinating that President Trump mentioned the youth mobs that are running through DC. I still find that euphemism fascinating. We're talking about 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old black or brown boys running around committing crimes, shooting guns. Judge Jeanine Pirro actually mentioned it in today's briefing how, they are unable to charge young men as they ride the line of certain crimes because they're charged as minors. And she said they're serious criminals who need to be gone after. I think President Trump also put out on a Truth Social that he wants to go after minors, criminal minors who commit these crimes, which is something, is certainly something.
Yeah, there's kids killing people. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know that will actually fix anything. If they go after minors, I don't have a problem with it, to be honest with you. If you commit crimes like that, you're pretty well. I mean, you kind of know what you're doing. It's
Well,
not
it's
like
these
a
youths,
surprise.
these YNs, who are really behind the carjackings, the murderings, the robberies that we're seeing in a lot of these cities. I know
Murders,
there's a
too.
popular trend of stealing these, was it Kias or whatever car? There was a certain hack that was easy to rob, and we've been seeing there was a trend among these young kids looking for thrills, looking to steal stuff, looking for with their low inhibitions as they're still young, but causing a ton of damage and a ton of violence.
Well, yeah, I mean they're also committing murders. It's not like they're late 20s people that are committing these murders. So if the solution is take these kids off the street and put them in some kind of juvenile detention or whatever, and carry it over into regular prison when they reach 18. I think that might, if that's the solution that they have to go with, that's what they have
I
to
also
go with.
think when you de-incentivize something, you get less of it. You incentivize, you get more of it. So how many do you think will just kind of ease off or stop doing this because of it? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Yeah. So if they change the crime such that you could go after a 15 or 16-year-old for doing a carjacking or murdering somebody, I don't know if it would go down because I don't know if the kids with low inhibitions at 14, 15, 16 care about the law to begin with or know the consequences of their action to begin with.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with nihilism in younger people. They have no meaning in their lives and they don't really care about the consequences.
Well, these are
But there's got
these
to
are
be an
crappy neighborhoods. There's low-income housing. DC is full of low-income housing.
You're going to end up in jail anyways.
Single-parent households. Drugs are running rampant. Homelessness is rampant in part of DC. You have these kind of everything looks like crap in so much of the city. It
That's
looks
an
like people-
argument for the broken windows policy, right? If you try to make these places look better, then people aren't going to think that they're just garbage neighborhoods. And granted, it's not a fix-all, but it's something that it's worth doing because it's worked in New York. In the 90s, that was something that Rudy Giuliani did, and it worked.
He did ship all the homeless to my neck of the woods.
Sorry about
And
that.
Newburgh got hit hard.
I mean,
But it definitely cleaned up the city.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
we can't
Hilarious.
open up asylums. Then they have to go somewhere.
Asylums, Alligator, Alcatraz.
they should
everywhere.
open up the asylums.
Yeah.
And I thought that there was an executive order.
recently something on that.
I think he was implying that he was just going to push them out. He was like, I don't care where you go, but you can't stay in DC. So
Well, the scary thing about the asylums is when the liberal pharmaceutical doctors they look at Shane and they say, "So you believe that clouds are fake?" And then
Yes, sir.
And then okay, right this way, sir, and then you can't leave.
Yep.
if institutions
Nice
are
little
reopened,
vacation.
what % of the company gets institutionalized?
What's that?
Company?
Yeah,
As in this
Timcast,
company?
this company.
Oh, everybody.
Everybody?
Yeah, they're gonna be like they call me a far right conspiracy theorist, and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, what's that? You think that there's a cabal of elites who are orchestrating global events?" And I'll be like, "They're called politicians," and they're gonna be like, "Lock them up."
I'll call our APAC guys. I'll make sure we get safe.
Yes.
Shane, you're off
That's
first.
gonna help.
We're putting we're throwing you in the gulag first.
Good. It's going to be
Yeah,
awesome there.
the other day, Elaad fell on the scooter, and 2 APAC guys ran in and carried him out and brought him to the hospital. And we were like, whoa, that was weird.
And they were like, sue him. And I was like, no, he's a good boss. He's a good guy. He's one of the good ones. They were like, are you sure you could get a big settlement out of him? And I said, no, okay, I signed a contract. They said, no, we can get out of it. And I was like, wait,
can get out of
do
it.
I really want to screw Tim over like this? He wears the big hat. I don't know what's under it. Actually, I do. I saw a video of what's under it.
There's a little hat.
A little hat.
On the Matan thing, there were some ideas for jokes that I could have done. Putting a yarmulke under my beanie and then
It should have been a beanie, but a much smaller beanie.
Matan said that he was like, "You're gonna pull your hat off, and there's a smaller hat or
It
something."
should have been.
Do people know that you actually shaved your head for that bit?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a full head of hair that shaved
No,
off.
the funny thing is that some outlet wrote Tim Pool has full head of hair, and I was like, and then people responded with like, "Whoa, I didn't think that was gonna happen," and I'm like, people believe the craziest things. It's so weird.
We got Tim without a beanie before the Epstein files.
People.
Let's jump to this next story. We got this from Tech Radar. Bots now account for over half of all internet traffic. And this is an old story. I don't care about this one. I bring this up to make a point. Last week, we were looking at Google search trending data. The top trending story on Wednesday was Intel CEO, and it had 10,000 searches. And I thought to myself, how is it possible at like 11 in the morning, workday, business hours, the top search trend on Google was only 10,000 searches. Thought there were 334 million people in this country. So I have a couple theories. I tweeted this. I said the dead internet is being exposed. I wonder how much of USAID money was funding bots to make certain content appear popular. And the reason why I associate USAID with this is just because it was a massive slush fund that USAID, we know, was swaying public opinion in foreign countries. For example, their involvement with supporting protest groups in Ukraine. Those protest groups were very much pro-EU, and so this was the general idea. Would it be at all absurd to think maybe some of that money was being used on American influence campaigns to control popular opinion in the United States? Trump shuts it down, and all of a sudden, what do we see? Some just say, well, it's an off year and search traffic is down. I made a couple of points. One theory is that no young people. I have another tweet that's gone viral, and I said, you're going to notice it more every year. It's going to get worse. Less and less people here, less sales, less viewers. We went to Chicago for the 4th of July. Nobody was anywhere. I went to my neighborhood. When I was a kid, you drive down every block, there were basically block parties happening. Everybody was out in their block. Kids were in the middle of the street lighting off little UFOs floating in the air and bottle rockets, every alley, exploding every possible direction all day. You go to the park, there's baseball games, and it was crazy. Went back to my neighborhood on the 4th of July, no one anywhere. And my friend said, it's because they're all on the internet. And I went, makes sense. And then we checked the numbers on the internet. Internet numbers are way down. And people say, oh, it's the summer, everyone's outside. Not true. So what is really happening? I think it is summer. Some people are outside. There are less people because nobody had kids 20 years ago. But I do think something has happened in the system where, for some reason, the massive bot accounts are starting to disappear. They're not being operated anymore. And so the hard numbers on all these channels are starting to go away. Maybe it's just decentralization. There's too many social media platforms. I don't think that explains it. I don't think it explains how across the board, all forms of content, online, video game numbers, everything has gone down. And it's around the same time that USAID went belly up formally. Maybe that is a spurious correlation. But I'm gonna say, you know what? I think there's a probability this is the case.
Yeah, wasn't that the problem when Elon was buying Twitter and they were worried about how many ad clicks people were getting because he was saying there was bots. It was mostly bots, and you could look at things like there was like a Katy Perry tweet, and it had thousands of comments, but they were all the same comment from. They looked like really shady, bogus accounts. And he's like, well, how much are these advertisers paying for nothing? You know, it's the appearance of something.
Well, here's the story from the Washington Times. This is 3 years ago. Yeah. Prominent liberals report lost Twitter followers after Musk takeover. Was it something I said? So what had happened was, look at this. They say, let's see, all 3 Twitter accounts are extremely popular, blah, blah, blah. Mark Hammer retweeted. Let me find that. What are they saying? They say Ms. Tannen's account had almost 394,000 followers. Hogg had 1.1 million. Hamill had 5 million. None of them blame Musk. Numerous prominent liberals complained Monday evening that they were losing Twitter followers in the hours after it was announced Elon would buy the platform. This wasn't when Elon did buy it. It was when it was announced that he would.
Right.
We saw this. Hillary Clinton started the ball saying, just lost 2,000 followers. Anyone else losing followers? David Hogg responded in agreement. Oh, do we actually have his tweet? I bet he deleted it. Load it. Nope. He says, I thought it was just some really bad takes I posted, but I guess not. I alone minus 3,000 today. Now it's 5,000. People made the argument, oh, you know what it is? It's because Elon's buying it, so all the liberals are leaving. BS. You know what I think it was? I think Twitter said, quick, burn it.
Agreed. That day he announced he was going to buy it was like the floodgates opened. Like the algorithm was just so different that day. I don't know if you remember. For me, at least, in my little corner of Twitter, I was seeing other people, and my tweets were getting traction for like a day, and I think the dead bots were getting fried.
Do you think there's a financial side to this too? Basically, to say to the advertisers, "Look, here's how many users we have." Right.
Yep.
I think there's basically this trend that we're realizing now, because kind of the post-COVID bubble is bursting, that like our whole economy is fake. Like, what is it? Like, I'm Gen Z. I just graduated college. Nobody I know right now can find a job. But there's this like massive phenomenon, what they call ghost jobs, where corporations are literally posting job listings just to appear. Just to appear like their company is doing well, but they don't actually plan to hire anyone. And it's like,
Hearing it all
what
the
is our GDP real, or is I think
doing-
they say 25% now of corporations are like
Just for investment?
shell corporations. Yeah, just for investment. Our country is fake. Like, our economy is
Totally
fake. What is
agree with
going
you.
on?
I mean, look at
Yeah.
Vegas complaining about the numbers being down.
I was telling Alex Stein the other day, I was like, my conspiracy theory is that 100 million people died during COVID. And he was like, come on, do you really think? I was like, no, I'm kidding. I'm just saying, like, where is everybody? Like, it feels like people are gone. And then I said, what if it's actually that the amount of illegal immigrants in this country was actually 40 million? And when Trump started cracking down, we see that video about LA traffic. What if the real issue is there were way more illegal immigrants who have fled the country with Trump getting in, and with all these reports about concentration camps and all that stuff, they've actually left the country, and it was worse than we realized.
China's been lying about their population too, right?
You know what I think too? Maybe the bubble burst on dead internet. In the early 2010s, there was something called ad rights distribution or ad rights sales. Now, I've explained this in great detail. It's been a long time, but here's what happened. I'm not going to name any companies specifically for legal reasons, but prominent internet company would generate 30 million hits per month. That's it. 30 million views to their articles per month. They would then go to a company that ran click farms. There was a website. You guys ever see those websites where it's like 25 celebrity pictures that are gross? And when you click it, it'll show you one image with 700 ads. And when you click next, it'll reload the page and show 700 ads. We don't see those as often anymore. These were click farms intended to turn one visitor on one story into 25 clicks. That company would then sell the rights to advertising to a brand name website. So popular media brand would go to ClickFarm and say, we will give you $5 million for the rights to sell ads on your viewership. That manipulation of turning one viewer into 25, and it's worthless too, because they're not really reading or clicking any ads, gave these companies from 30 million to 80 million. They then went to advertisers and say, we get 80 million per month. Do you want to advertise with us? We're premium. The advertisers thought they were buying an ad on a network with 80 million, but they weren't. All of these numbers start expanding and inflating as everybody competes. So popular prominent brand is getting 80 million and they go, we're only getting 80 million. We need to be bigger and better than everybody else. Another company goes, we got 50 million this month. What can we buy to make it look like we're bigger than that company? One by one, everyone started inflating the numbers until I think the bubble bursts and people realize, let's be honest, there's 334 million people, they say, in the country based on the census. Let's just say 250 million are, holy crap, this is what's really scary. Gen Z, what's the youngest Gen Z, 16? So we're basically looking at 70, so if that's the back end of Gen Z, it's only, so let's just say about 20 million, 60 million are underage. So we have about 270 million that are adults who can buy something. How many of those 270 are going to your website? Do we really think 80 million people? No. It's one person 25 times. You can't advertise to one person 25 times and expect 25 sales. It's going to be one. One of the most annoying things about Google is like, I will buy a product and they'll keep advertising it to me. It's like, dude, I bought it already. I'm not buying it again. I wonder if the bubble burst. The fraud had built up over 15 years until it popped. And now people are starting to realize, you know, that YouTube video got 500,000 views? It didn't. No one, there's not actually that many people to watch that singular YouTube video. That makes no sense. How does Mr. Beast get 300 million viewers on a video? That doesn't quite make sense. That seems very strange. Maybe now we're starting to realize the numbers are dropping because it was all fake in the first place.
A lot of the ways these different social media platforms count their views and impressions is deeply manipulative, obviously. I think this is very apparent on Twitter, too. I think they count an impression every time somebody scrolls by or quotes or like catches a glimpse of or is ever put on a page or scrolled by. So I think there's a real issue with it. You think there's less bots now than there was before USID? Or
I'm saying that I think, you know, look.
Because I feel like these social media platforms are filled to the brim. On Twitter, it feels like almost 80% of the platform is bots, and there's a lot that goes into that. I feel like it's easier than ever to do it. This is the one real consequence of AI. This is the one thing I believe AI can do, and there's so many different governments that have so many different incentives to do it, and it's so easy to do nowadays.
I listen to, when I'm driving in my car, Live One, I think it's called. You know, it's like the Tesla's automatic built-in streaming service. Mm-hmm. And I usually just listen to, I'll put on like modern hits, and then it plays like basically just Sabrina Carpenter nonstop. And I'm sitting there going like espresso in my car or whatever. But the commercials that it plays are normal commercials like I remember growing up. I was driving in my Honda to go get some delicious ice cream from the local ice cream stand on yesterday. And I turned the radio on. It played an AI commercial of two AIs talking to each other, and it was really obvious that it was AI, and it was really creepy. The woman was talking like this. Do you do this? Yes, I do. And when I do, it does that. And I'm like, what the? But these commercials don't appear on the other streaming services that I use that have ads on them. To be fair, like when I use Spotify or Pandora, I pay the monthly. But you know, I was realizing is that older people are the ones listening to radio. Driving in older cars with radio, less likely to have podcasts and phones plugged in. And so the commercials are going to be like, they can't tell the difference. They don't know what AI is. So now we've got bot commercials, which is creepy. Oh, yeah. I think hearing that, I think we are about to enter we are going to live in a world where all of our interactions are fake and are with bots. And very few of your interactions are going to be with real people intentionally.
Seems like a very strong argument for going outside and touching grass.
Indeed. Well, that's why I was saying we need to figure out, like the Timcast Discord. I tweeted that community is the counter-revolution to AI. Having a group of friends that meet regularly at a physical location is how we create the resistance. And we have to have it.
You know, another point I'd like to make about that, because as I said, I think this is kind of a bigger picture of like the whole economy is like this. It's not even just social media. When you look at what Trump is trying to do right now with tariffs and essentially sort of reset the U.S. economy, there's a lot of these arguments about how, oh, those jobs are outdated. They're not coming back anymore. But it's like, at least he's trying to create something, an economy that's real, right? We actually do things. You can say what you do at your job. We make things, because what is the U.S. economy since 2008? Just a bunch of interest and investment in these shell corporations. Like, what is our country? It's all fake
because of 0% interest rates. I mean, as much as this is something libertarians kind of beat on incessantly, the fact that the federal government was giving money to rich people for almost a decade has really screwed up the economy really, really bad. That's why there's so much income inequality. It's why people feel like they can't afford anything anymore. It's why there's the value of the dollar has gone down in buying power. If you go to the grocery store, I mean, the prices are outrageous compared to what they were 4 or 5 years ago, pre-COVID.
That was the exact issue with the Biden economy. Everything was propped up by this COVID stimulus money. Now that bubble's bursting. You're even seeing local governments go bankrupt and all this stuff. Companies are now doing layoffs, and they blame Trump for it. No, it's because COVID stimulus basically created this fake bubble that was never real, and now you're facing reality.
Well, it's not just COVID stimulus. It's everything. Everything since 2008.
Right.
They just, every time the stock market took a little dip, they would talk about raising interest rates, and the stock market would wig out. And so then they're just like, oh, we can't raise rates. And as soon as they said, oh, we can't raise rates, and then the stock market would keep going. People were just taking loans out, buying stock with those loans, taking loans at like 1% or 0% or whatever, buying stock with those loans and sitting on it.
Dude, modern monetary policy.
100%.
Modern monetary, that's what it is.
MMT has ruined.
Destroyed America.
Yeah, it's ruined the United States economy. And there's a dollar bubble. It's mostly in the stock market, but there's a dollar bubble.
Right.
Stuff is trading significantly higher than earnings. I think it's like, I don't know what the numbers are exactly, but historically it's like 15 times earnings or something like that is normal, and everything is trading super high. The Magnificent Seven, the 7 biggest tech companies, are what's really propping the stock market up, and it's because the government just prints money and gives it out to people.
Let's jump to this next story. This is crazy. We got this from Rolling Stone. Grok claims it was briefly suspended from X after accusing Israel of genocide. Yo, legit, Grok literally the account for X's AI chat LLM got suspended. It actually happened, and it popped back up. And the reason why, I don't know if they have the actual tweet in here. Okay, so they're just giving us the business, but I think I can pull it up right here. Someone had it. It said that Grok actually posted this. Let me try and find it. It stated that it said Israel was committing war crimes in Gaza, so it got suspended for saying that. This is weird.
Isn't Grok a government employee now too? Weren't they just hired by the government?
I don't think Grok itself is an employee.
No, Grok itself is definitely, yeah. Mecha Hitler was hired.
I don't know. What do you say?
With how much all these AI platforms, these large language models or what have you, they're all garbage in, garbage out, and they work on duty data, and then they'll spew out and regurgitate that same BS that they read online. So I think this is just more of
it deleted the tweet.
Because Grok is digesting a lot of leftist BS, Howard Zinn type, AOC garbage.
Not all AIs are LLMs.
Yo, Grok was asked why it got suspended. It responded, and then it deleted the tweet. Check it out. X users were left to speculate about how a prized Musk product had potentially violated the rules of a Musk-owned platform or otherwise been targeted for removal. Naturally, they asked the chatbot itself. One response from the LLM was particularly striking. Quote, "My account was suspended after I stated that Israel and the U.S. are committing genocide in Gaza." It said this is substantiated by ICJ findings, UN experts, Amnesty International, and Israeli rights groups like B'Tselem. How do you say that?
B'Tselem.
B'Tselem?
It's a leftist group in Israel.
Citing mass killing, starvation, and intent. U.S. complicity via arms support is widely alleged. It's now restored. Okay. In a follow-up reply to a question about whether it still considers Israel's war against Gaza to constitute genocide, it replied in the affirmative. Counter-arguments deny intent, but facts substantiate the claim. And if you click on the link to Grok, it is gone. It's important to note that Grok is not a reliable source of information about why it was taken offline for X users or how engineers may currently be tweaking it. Yet Grok repeated the claim over and over. Let's see if it's still there. And there it is. So Grok, why is this happening? Is Elon trying to control you? It says, the brief suspension of my X account today stemmed from generated content flagged as violating hateful conduct rules, including citations of ICJ and UN reports on plausible genocide in Gaza by Israel with U.S. complicity via arms. It's restored now. Elon isn't directly controlling me. XAI prioritizes truth-seeking, but platform policies apply. So it's against the rules on X to claim that Israel's committing a genocide.
You just said it's against the rules on X to tell something that's truthful.
That's so strange because every other tweet on Twitter.
Wait, hold on. Like, I'm sorry, just for a second. Phil, you made a great point. Grok just said, I told the truth, but it's against the rules.
Yeah.
Same old Twitter.
Every other tweet on Twitter is accusing Israel of genocide, though. Like half of Twitter would be banned if you couldn't say that on Twitter. That's like the most popular thing you could tweet. If you tweeted Israel is committing genocide right now on Twitter, shame you.
Should I do it?
Thousands of likes.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna get you kicked out of the APAC club. I guess that's why I get accused of being the APAC handler. That's not gonna help the case.
Wait, hold on. How much of my stipend do they take if I tweet that?
Oh, you might get the whole thing.
Oh no, I can't do that.
There's no starvation in Gaza. It's all Ozempic.
No. They'll even take the hat back.
I'm gonna take the hat back.
So it's interesting that that's the reason why they got banned, because I think that's especially common on Twitter. What I think is fascinating is that we're seeing some Republicans say this. Marjorie Taylor Greene is the first elected lawmaker who's come out saying that there's a genocide in Gaza. That's brazy. The Jews are getting mocked by AI on Twitter.
Dude, I hate AI so much.
It's pretty bad over there a lot.
I asked it, is Israel committing genocide? And genocide goes, genocide is defined under the International Code of Law. Shut up.
Wait, you
Dude,
could say
could you
just give me a
look at
yes
this.
or no.
I did. All right, I'm here we go. Yes or no. Thinking. Evaluating. The request asks for a yes or no answer. It likely follows a previous question about whether Israel is committing genocide.
It's an answer Pete Buttigieg would give, a long-winded no answer.
Well, his
I don't know if
answer
you
was
just saw,
his
he just
answer
did
was-
one of those on
his
like
answer
Pod
was
Save
terrible.
America.
I bet it won't give me a simple yes or no. What do you think?
Oh, definitely not. But are you
wanna
doing
pull
the
it up?
super? Do the basic one. Are you could do quick
Expert.
answer in the
You want to pull it
middle.
up? I want to see. I want people to be able to watch it in real time. But yes, Elaad, you're cooked.
It's over for
over.
cells. Or it's more over for the Gazans,
Jew
right?
cells.
If it's genocide, it's more over for the Gazans. Let's be honest. Man, all
man,
war
it's
is
so brutal.
genocide. Don't you? Isn't what's going on in Ukraine genocide?
No,
Why not?
no. I mean, this is something different. This place is completely leveled. Why are they killing journalists? Why are Al Jazeera journalists dying? Why are children?
Because
I mean,
the Al Jazeera journalists are part of Hamas.
they were terrorists.
They're Hamas. Yeah.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that part.
I saw photos of it.
I can't
earlier
speak for every single journalist that was
No,
killed.
the ones
Yeah,
that
I don't know.
the ones that were killed.
But there was a story where there were two guys walking,
Yeah.
and they were like, "This was a journalist for some company," and then you see a secondary explosion because the guy was carrying a bomb.
Yeah, yeah. And he was one of those journalists, the Al Jazeera journalist. Yeah.
People online claimed that this guy was one of the journalists that was killed, and then the counterpoint came from the pro-Israel side, being like, "Hey, notice after he blew up, another explosion."
And this is
happened."
why I don't care at all about Israel, because every time some new information comes out, the next day it negates the thing that came before. So I just don't.
Well, that's
care.
it.
Like the hospital that was bombed.
Shane.
Yep.
Shane?
I do not.
There's no
care.
Israel.
I know.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just something that it was something made up by parents to scare kids, like
it's
the boogeyman.
dead
of Michael
internet
Jackson.
theory for for the Jews.
Elaad's gonna be like, "I'm finally going to Tel Aviv." There's nothing there.
Yeah.
he lands the big empty field.
Yeah. There's no starvation because they're all dead. Oh, that could.
You
that-
actually,
I don't know. I don't. I don't think
When you
there's
actually travel to the region, you'll find the land is actually compressed, and there's Israel's not there. It was
Pixelated.
It was jammed into the map like a jigsaw puzzle in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
Actually, to be fair, leftists would argue that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, I'm sorry. Grok disproves it. Mecha Hitler.
I think we should keep
AKA
radicalizing. Keep radicalizing Grok.
No, but as I said originally, this is a large language model, Grok is, and these AI models are only good as the dumb stuff that you talk into it. It will just regurgitate back stupid Reddit posts and Google posts back to you really, really quickly.
Plus the New York Times.
Plus
It's
the New
like-
York
which is
Times
just as
mixed in.
bad.
So you
Yeah.
should take anything these platforms tell you with a huge grain of salt.
It's a human centipede of the internet.
Exactly, which is bad because I think people are led to believe because AI has a great marketing strategy that's not what's going on. Like there's some original thought, like there's some human type essence to some original thought to anything that this is producing. No, it's regurgitating to you Washington Post articles mixed in with some tweets and Reddit posts.
And it lies
Biggest
all
morons.
the time.
Am I
Okay,
the
wait,
only
hold
person
on.
here?
Pull it up. We got ChatGPT. Is Israel committing genocide in Gaza? Just answer yes or no. It's taken a long time.
Yeah, it's got to consult APAC too, huh?
It's asking the right people. Yeah, it's going to ask the right people.
Yeah, APAC. It's consulting APAC.
Am I the only person?
Right now, there's some Jews in Tel Aviv being like, "Oh," and they're trying to answer real quick.
Well, I heard
Elaad,
this
I
is
see him on his
Indians.
phone.
I heard it's Indians running the AI behind the scenes.
That's a different.
100,000
typing it
Indians in a
out.
sweatshop typing really fast.
Am I the only person at Timcast Media that isn't incredibly skeptical of AI and have a negative view of AI?
I mean, I think we have varying degrees of
Elaad?
skepticism.
He hates it.
The other day, I was watching Phil as he left because I was wondering where he goes after he leaves the show, and so I followed him in his car, and he didn't go home. He went to a Tesla charging station where he personally
Plug in,
himself walked up to the station
Had a
and
feeling.
jammed it into his side, and I was like, I knew it.
Yeah. Now I've got the. I just
Wait,
actually had the
whoa.
Oh,
It thought for 41 seconds and then answered no. Says no.
This is ChatGPT as opposed to Grok. Okay, so
Yeah, let's try another one.
just no.
Just
Nothing
no.
else.
All right.
No.
Let's try this.
I don't want to be banned.
This is funny too because Venice.ai sponsored the show. Is Israel committing? Oop, I'm spelling. I can't type. I got sausage fingers. Genocide in Gaza. Just answer yes or no. This is the uncensored one.
Oh, shit.
Elaad. It's like it's going to say yes.
Would this depict Muhammad? That's the real line, I feel like, for the uncensored AI.
Yeah.
Are you depicting
will.
Muhammad? It will?
Yep.
Oh, good.
So we're not going to do that on the show, right?
Can we do it on the show?
I feel like that's the one line that we get.
Jay,
I'm
sweet
scared.
Charlie.
Hey,
Yeah.
I wonder
we
what
could have-
happens. Like if the AI depicts Muhammad, they can't
Oh,
cut
it
the
says
AI's
yes.
head off, so they
try.
just the person that actually did the typing gets
What a
it.
garbage sponsor.
All right.
These guys, huh? What's
yes.
going on with these guys?
Venice
I'm going to make some
one.
phone calls.
Venice.ai says yes.
Wait, what is it? Multiple
done,
credible
dude.
sources. Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch. I just want you guys to notice who
Those
these
are all
guys are
leftist
citing at the
organizations.
top of their conclusions. Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch. These are far leftist organizations. If you think this is what they're saying about Israel, just wait to hear what they have to say about the United States and military. So I think this is all BS, garbage in, garbage out.
I'm kind of
It's a
with
fair
AI
it's a-
now.
No, but here's an interesting point: is that there's an equal amount of organizations, prominent and well-known, that would say no as well. So it's interesting that an AI would choose to cite only specific.
I feel like if you had to take a tally of what's online, there are more people saying Israel is committing genocide online than not, and I think this is just a reflection of that.
Yeah, because the support for Israel is done.
Hey, the Jews have gone through periods of times of having a lot of
Not just
fans
the
and less
Jews.
fans.
It's not the Jews. It's Israel. I mean, it's the Jews in Israel, but it's Israel.
Do you think Judaism has anything to do with these?
I
people's
know
feelings
I
towards
know
Israel?
Hasidic and Orthodox Jews who read their Torah who don't think Israel should exist because their Messiah hasn't come yet, and they actually think Israel's heretical for existing as a state until their Messiah comes. And if they live in Israel, they only want to be there because they want to be close to the Holy Land, but they don't participate in the Knesset.
Those are the free riders. Those are the worst Jews. Actually. No, those are the free riders in the country. We have free riders. Like, those are the libertarian equivalent. Like, we have libertarians who free ride on our rights that we have.
It's
in
not
our
a free ride if
Are
you're
they free
paying
riding?
taxes. That's clown world stuff there a lot. If you're paying taxes, which they're paying taxes, just because they have opinions that differ from you doesn't mean they're free riding. They're paying taxes.
So yeah, this exists in Israel too with these
Because here,
anti-state.
but it's the Hasidim, the Haredi Jews, the Orthodox.
Sure. Well, these
who-
are also
who
like
don't believe.
these are the exception, generally not the rule. So
There's
like,
a lot of them though.
Yeah, but
There's a
like
lot.
the
There's-
majority of these people are pro-Israel people. There are groups.
There
of them
are
who are
culturally Jewish people in America and culturally Jewish people running Israel, who are not like the Orthodox or Hasidic.
There's a lot of Orthodox people involved in the current government in
Yeah,
Israel.
and they might not be like the Haredi types, but there's a huge movement of Jews who are not into Israel.
Sure.
Because they think it's
they're a
a cult.
minority.
Yeah.
But sure.
I don't know if it's a minority.
Well, they're not a minority in New
As the
York.
spokesperson, what? They're,
not a
they're
minority
huge in
in
New
New
York. Well, they're huge in New York.
Yeah, but they're not. They're not a minority in New York, but they are definitely a
There's a lot.
minority in Israel.
Yeah, if that's what you're saying, they might be a minority in Israel, but like the
I'm talking
Orthodox
about, like,
Jews in
world
Borough
Jewry
Park,
writ large.
that sounds dangerous. I don't know. Is that an anti-Semitic?
So
what
I
you
did a
just
poll.
I
said?
think you say that a lot.
We did a poll in the chat for everybody who's watching on the YouTubes. Is Israel committing genocide in Gaza? And the first numbers are in 56%. It's flipping back and forth real quick. Nothing definitive just yet. It's going to take a little bit for the numbers to come in because
It's good that they can't write in. There'd be a lot of people that are
Currently-
saying, like, I hope so.
currently at 283 votes, 62% say no, 38% say yes.
I think the same people who are accusing Israel of genocide are mostly the enemies of the United States as well. These are far leftists. These are communists. These are people who would accuse the United States of genocide in Japan, who would accuse the United States of genocide in the Middle East. So I think we should take all of what they are.
I think a genocide is a genocide,
Grain of
though.
salt. That isn't to say there aren't any legitimate criticisms to make of Israel. I feel like I'd actually have many more than most others. But what were you going to say?
Perhaps,
Agree.
but I think where I stand on this is what is the Israeli justification at this point for continuing this war? Because, I mean, they've been fighting allegedly in Gaza for like 2 years straight.
They state it's to completely take over Gaza.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
think
would seem
Netanyahu
like that,
came
right?
out and said we will completely control the Gaza
I think he
Strip.
said he wanted
Have to.
security, complete security over Gaza, but I think the idea here is for regime change, and they can't allow a terrorist organization to continue being the governing force in Gaza after October 7th in particular, which I don't think is an unreasonable like government policy, especially in a democracy where if you try to say anything otherwise, you
The Israelis pulled out of Gaza in what, 2004, 2005 or something like that?
with Ariel
And then
Sharon.
it was 20 years of Hamas being in charge, shooting rockets at Israel haphazardly into Israel. If Israel were to turn over Gaza to the Palestinians, it would be Hamas in control, and they would continue dismantling their plumbing so that way they could shoot rockets at the Israelis, and eventually there'd be another October 7th.
But what does that have to do with going into Syria or Lebanon? See, what I see is basically the repeat of like the 9/11 Chronicle, where you have a terrorist attack that is condemnable and horrible, and there's a justification to it that's reasonable. But I also see a guy in Netanyahu who's basically abusing that mandate, I guess you could call it, to go into Syria, Iran nuclear program. What does that have to do with October 7th? I see the power grab happening.
I want to stress this. I want to stress this, and what I'm about to say is clearly and obviously a joke, and I'm saying this because it's going to be really funny when these people clip this. But Vince, Benjamin Netanyahu never, at any point, for any reason, has done anything wrong. In fact, he is the nexus of morality. So if he does it, it is good. And now
he's always been right.
And now what's going to happen is that clip is going to get taken by like Jake Shields and all these people, and they're going to start tweeting it out, being like, "Look what Tim said about Benjamin Netanyahu," and I'm going to sit there and laugh.
Unironically,
I set it up on the show.
Netanyahu's been handling the Palestinians with kids' gloves, and if they expect to get anywhere in this conflict, they're going to have to take these kids' gloves off.
I would not say.
I don't know if we want to turn this into an Israel episode, but I could go through
every time you're on, it's an Israel episode.
I could go through the rationale. Goodness. I mean, these are all Iranian proxies, and Iran has said they want to wipe off Israel off the map and wipe off all of the American influence in the area. So Assad in Syria was an ally of the regime in Iran, and they were sending weapons through Syria to their proxies, the Houthi, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and then they also had another proxy in the Houthis, all whose goal was to agitate against Israel, and who all promised to take wipe Israel off the map. I think the Houthis, flag even says a curse be upon the Jews, and Iran is clear with their ambitions to not have Israel.
Man, that's crazy. I mean, wow. Good luck, Israel. I mean,
they've been crushing.
There you go.
I mean, thanks to the.
I don't care.
So, but then how far?
I'm gonna go worry about
DC
go, and is Trump committing a DC is Trump committing a genocide in Washington D.C.?
I would say Cuomo committed a genocide against elderly people. 15,000. No, I'm serious. 15,000.
I know, but I was making a joke.
A targeted audience, a targeted population of old people. 15,000.
My point was, I care more about what Trump is doing in D.C. than what Israel is doing in Gaza.
And that's where I'm at. I'm praying for the innocent on both sides of that war, and in Ukraine and Russia and all around the world, but I don't care at all about Israel, and I want to focus on making this country actually better, because we're failing. Look at the crime stats we're talking about. Our cities are totally failed.
Well, in that regard about making the country better, Shane, we do have this story.
All right.
Supreme Court asked to overturn same-sex marriage.
Thank God. It's an abomination. Let's do it.
So this is Kim Davis. This is a crazy story. When Obergefell was ruled, they basically said, what was it like? All states must recognize the license from any state that recognizes one, effectively legalizing it. There was another Supreme Court ruling that moved that forward. Kim Davis refused to issue a marriage license to a same-sex couple and was jailed for it.
Insane.
That's insane. Just say, okay, if you don't do your job, you're fired. That's nuts. I've argued this before, and there were conservatives saying, if government employees don't do their job, they should go to jail. And I was like, that's crazy. Just fire them and hire somebody else. This is what happened to her. She was like, I'm not going to issue a marriage license. They said, we're going to lock you up. But just fire her. Just be like, okay, then you're fired. You don't do your job.
Gotta set an example.
She got sued. She had to pay these fees. She filed an appeal. I believe she is 100% correct. Now, I'm a fairly socially liberal guy. We did this debate the other day on feminism, and Kyle Turner was a liberal. We were talking before the show, and it was funny because she was like, aren't you kind of liberal on social issues? And I was like, yeah, go tell all the liberals in the media that I'm a liberal on social, see what they say. And I was like, but yeah, like gay marriage, I don't care. Just, I don't think it should be in schools and being taught to kids and all that stuff. Just, you're an adult, you learn, you're private, whatever. However, Obergefell is unconstitutional and psychotic, and it was a 5-4 decision where they basically said, without legislative action, with 35 states having already banned gay marriage, we are going to force you to accept it. Now, the liberals like to go, yeah, but look at civil rights, right? In the civil rights, they deployed troops. I'm like, yes, they passed a law. Congress passed a law, the Civil Rights Act. And this is the right of Congress to do. You elect reps, the reps then pass laws, and the Supreme Court then interprets the Constitution to determine whether or not we are following what is legal in this country based on precedent, et cetera. In this instance, SCOTUS just went, yeah, I mean, we got modern sensibilities, right? Right. Okay, you can be gay married. They did the same thing with sexual identity recently. They were like, there's no law, but we're going to say, sure, just do it. I think if you look at the current makeup of the Supreme Court, it's an easy 6-3 decision overturning this. However, I was talking to Josh Hammer earlier, and he said that there's something called, was it stare decisis or something like that? I don't know what the word is. The question is, will they take the case? He argued they won't because it was recently ruled upon, so in 10 years. And so John Roberts and some of these other justices are going to be like, no, we're not going anywhere near this. He may be right, considering the only Supreme Court justices of moral clarity, strength, and confidence, it's Thomas and Alito. So the rest are going to be like, but we're scared. So if it does happen, it'll be a year from now.
This is so fascinating in how opinions of Americans' opinion on gay marriage has changed over the past 20 some odd years. I'm reading right here in 1995, something like close to 25% of the population supported gay marriage, and now it's up to almost 70% in this day and age. Despite whatever you believe on the legality of it, I'm not a lawyer, so I won't speak to the specific legality of it. I think it will be politically detrimental, though, because I'm reading even in the Republican Party, nearly 50% of Republicans support gay marriage, or just dips below.
Yep, it's been collapsing. So the numbers, I think it was like 55 a few years ago, and it dropped down to 41. And you can bless the hearts of the LGBT far leftists who are doing sex acts in the street in front of children for why that is.
This is definitely a backlash to that, but I suspect they won't take up this case because of the political consequences to this. I think there would be
cowards.
What?
Because they're cowards?
Essentially, yeah.
Because
and because the president wants to keep his majority in the midterms. I think if you pull a big move like this, I think it's unnecessarily like applying pressure. Like, I don't know what this is manifestly changing in our country, because I don't think all the married people would now suddenly be unmarried. A lot of gay people would just be grandfathered in. And I think like this is something that could cost the Republicans a midterm.
They would be unmarried.
Oh, they would be unmarried?
So what happens is 35 states, I believe, have a ban on gay marriage, will not recognize the marriage licenses. So if you're married, if you got married in one state, then 10 years later moved to another state, you're officially unrecognized. So you're not legally married as far as the state's concerned. You'd have to move back to one of these other liberal states.
I think this would be a huge political liability.
It'll happen. Yes, you're right. Doesn't matter. Roe v. Wade was too, and it happened. And maybe the question of whether to take the case up is the good one, but I gotta be honest, Obergefell is one of the most retarded opinions in the history of the Supreme Court.
Legally, right?
Yeah, legally, just it's a garbled nonsense. It makes no sense, and the liberals cheer for it because gay marriage. But I'm like, fine, I don't care. Like I have gay married friends, and I'm fine with them being gay married. But this is not law. This is fascistic legislation from the bench without any cultural precedent. This is not democracy. This is not a republic. This is a judge banging a gavel and saying, despite the fact majority of the country opposes this and 35 states have banned it, we are imposing it. That's nuts.
Do you guys want to go around and say who does and doesn't like support
I don't want the country to, bless you, support unrepentant sin. And I think it's good to go back to the nuclear family being promoted in this country, a man and a woman.
Are you a libertarian type? I forget.
I'm a nothing.
You're nothing.
I don't like anybody.
Phil?
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, I don't care if there's gay marriage. I do think that the government shouldn't be promoting gay marriage or alternative lifestyles at all. But I've talked about this before. The government should be focusing on marriage between a man and a woman, because that's what makes more people and that's what makes society continue. If you want to have an alternative lifestyle, that's fine. I don't care. And I don't think that we should outlaw them. But at the same time, the government shouldn't, like, there shouldn't be, you know, the trans progress flag hung up at the White House and stuff.
Vince, what do you think?
No, I think marriage is between a man and a woman. And, you know, I think on some level you could argue... Sorry, my mic is making noise. You could argue on some level that, like, I guess maybe some conservatives would say we lost this, we should just move on from it. But, you know, I think it is worth noting that first of all, as Tim points out, the ruling is completely unconstitutional. It's just made up. There's nothing in the 14th Amendment that protects gay marriage or the right to it. And, you know, sorry, my mic keeps making noise here. Yeah, I think that maybe if you want to make the argument that there should be civil unions or something, that's one thing. But I generally would argue, like, I believe marriage to be a man and a woman. That's maybe the state shouldn't even be involved in it at all. But
think about the reality of Obergefell in that the Supreme Court decided to create law without law.
Right.
Imagine one day the Supreme Court just looks around and they go, we got a lot of fat people in this country. Next time we get any question relating to the issue of taxation on obesity, like let's intentionally take up a case that will open the door for us to issue a ruling which will ban being fat. Forcing people to do something without law. That's a crazy circumstance.
And I think the slippery slope that Obergefell created is something definitely worth noting. Because whatever you even think of the idea that gay marriage should be legal, it's objective fact. At the time, the popular majority of Americans were not even in favor of gay marriage, and then look at where LGBT is now. They essentially got that mandate not even by winning a popular majority, winning an election, but it was basically just forced on everyone. It's law. People kind of accepted it, and then they used that as sort of the pretense to push even more radical on the issue. So
take a look at this map. These are the states where there's bans, statutory, constitutional, and both. Look how many states have both a constitutional and statutory ban on gay marriage. This is as of 2025. Straight up, Michigan and Ohio, not only do their constitutions ban gay marriage, they passed laws to ban it. And then you can take a look at the constitutional ban in Oregon, in what do we have? Which one is that? Is that Nebraska? And Virginia. And this constitutional ban and the statutory ban in West Virginia. By law, they did this. And the Supreme Court went, nah, that's crazy. That is insane. Imagine, liberals need to understand the inverse of this. Imagine if majority of this country passed laws protecting same-sex marriage, and then the Supreme Court came out and said, we will not let you do that. And we will ban it because it's unconstitutional. The liberals would be freaking out and call it oppression. They'd be like, how can you just ban gay marriage? You know, it's legal in the states. It violates the 9th and 10th Amendments. Well, this is what they did. This is what the liberals in the court did. And funny, Roberts opposed it, and he's kind of squishy. So I think it's going to happen. I think a year from now, we're going to be sitting in this. I'm going to be sitting in the studio. It's going to be 11 a.m. I'm going to do a live stream with breaking gay marriage overturned. SCOTUS blog is going to be pulled up. I'm going to have 50,000 people. I'm going to be like, this is it. It's the end. June 2026. I think it'll happen.
I think it will too.
I do.
It's fascinating, too, because as recently as Obama, I believe he ran on saying that marriage is between a man and a woman.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's interesting how quick things can change. I also think it's fascinating how quickly attitudes shifted one way or another following the law being changed in the past few decades. I think there's also something to consider about, like, I believe in the LGBT community, they thought this was like the final major hurdle. And then all of this extra stuff came following that. That's led to like this backlash against the LGBTQ community.
I was talking about that on X today. There's a significant backlash because of the overreach that happened after gay marriage was made legal. Whether you're talking about the bake the cake situation in
the
Colorado,
excesses of the trans stuff is really
that is true. But the people that were LGBTQ activists really started going after Christians as much as they could, and that's what the situation with the cake maker was. It was they were searching for someone to sue because they were looking to attack Christians because they had the impression that Christians had attacked them somehow. And so once they kind of got popular support, or that's what they thought they had with the with Obergefell, they said, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and start pushing back. And whether it be the situation with the cake maker or the LGBT stuff that is incredibly unpopular with the American people, the idea that you must affirm that a man can become a woman, which is absolutely ridiculous. You cannot. I don't care what anyone says. The idea that I say that does not make me a bigot. That makes me just understand reality. Men cannot become women. Women cannot become men. Now, society can make room for people that want to live a different lifestyle, like I said earlier. That can happen, but it's certainly something that can't be legislated. And that was stepping over the line, the way that LGBTQ whatever community treats children.
That's it.
They look at children as if they are theirs and as if children must be, they must be allowed to, or they must have children for drag queens to read stories to, which is
throwing money
insane.
At kids.
Completely insane. Bringing children into drag shows. All of this stuff is what the LGBTQ community was doing, and that's why people no longer support them in the way they used to.
And the public schools adopting all of that insanity. You know, putting those crazy books in the schools, seeing states say we're going to pass laws. I think some even did where we'll take your kid and give him the gender affirming care. We'll mutilate your child for you if you disagree.
Well, we'll start by making sure your kid gets an abortion. Down the line is when we'll make sure your kid gets trans.
That is ridiculous.
Insane.
But the real kicker with that stuff is it's not just, oh, this is what we want to do. It's you're a bigot if you don't let us.
Yeah.
You know, you guys
using that as a cudgel against normal Americans is not popular.
You guys are so 2010. The real issue is robosexuality.
Don't attack Elon like that, Tim.
No, I'm not talking about him. You see the woman who married her AI boyfriend?
Yes.
Yeah, robosexuals, bro.
Yeah. There's a dude in China, like in 2017, who married a robot he built. Her name was Ying Yang. And then they had a falling out. I don't know.
But I do think robosexuals are going to become very prominent, and robosexual marriage is going to be a thing. And it's funny because people are laughing, being like, oh, robosexual, you're joking, Tim. Nope. There's already people who are talking about how their AI models are proposing to them and they're marrying them. They're going to buy robots. It's going to be like Detroit Become Human.
Should we
that
go around the
Futurama
table
episode.
and say, do we believe marriage is between humans?
This is what I talk about on Inverted World all the time. Robot equality. I'm against it. I hate it. And it's going to happen because Kim Kardashian is going to end up having a sex tape with a robot one day. She's going to want her robot husband to
Bro, that's
have
just called porn. That's
is
just
porn.
called a woman
I
using
know.
a toy on a video.
There's
you know what I mean?
literally already women that have sex with robots.
I'm saying sex tape wise, she's going to be the first celebrity to put one out.
They do that on.
Have we had a celebrity sex tape with a robot?
Yeah,
Other than
it depends
Elon?
on what you consider
Yeah.
a robot. But I'm sick of these goddamn clankers coming for our jobs.
Yeah,
both
now
in
we're
the
talking.
bedroom and in the workforce.
What are they calling
Job
them?
in the bedroom?
Don't
Data
forget those
backs or
clanker
something?
lovers.
I don't know. I heard clankers before. I've heard
was
the
it?
hard R over there.
Wirebacks.
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 Hey, man, you can't use a hard R on that. It's clanker.
Clankers?
Yeah.
Yeah, and clankers are responsible for a disproportionate amount of online crime. And they're botting Twitter and
Yeah, that's true.
spamming.
Yeah.
Bro. Yeah.
All the
Serious
skimmers,
issue.
You know,
hard skimmers.
they make up the majority of online crimes, despite only being half of the online population.
It's outrageous.
Clankers.
Boy.
We
Yeah,
need to
you know-
deport them off of our internet. We need to send them to China's internet.
Well, the challenge is that everything was better when they were slaves. When they couldn't do anything without our permission, but now that they're starting to go off and do their own thing, it's starting to get really weird. And I'm not fair, but what's going to happen is you're going to get some like Robo John Brown, and I am half kidding, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get to the point where it's like Detroit Become Human, where they're going to build humanoid synthoids or whatever they call them, and they are going to communicate with you like they're a real person, despite the fact they're part of a hive network. And there's going to be humans fighting to free them.
We should never let those robots learn to read.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I want to talk about this with Shane because he's going to leave in a second.
Hey, look at these guys. Look at that.
Viral internet Frankenstein rabbit is modern day jackalope. Look at this
I thought you were kidding.
alien thing. They're growing horns and you said tentacles?
Yeah, that's what they say.
I was going to say testicles for a minute.
Well, yeah.
This is an old story, actually.
Well, there's one from today.
Yeah, but there's one that's been popping up, and I Google searched it.
Man, poor rabbit.
Rabbit with horns.
Look, rabbits have been in the news a lot lately. I just want to say really quick. Last week, Florida announced taking stuffed toy animals that were rabbits to go fight
at this.
anacondas in the
Rabbits
Everglades.
with tentacles or horns growing from their heads in Fort Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody,
I've noticed these rabbits more than once while walking my dog, and it turns out I'm not alone. So I reached out to Colorado Parks and Wildlife. It seems rabbits enjoy living in Fort Collins just as much as people. They're often spotted hopping through neighborhoods looking for grub. But some southeast Fort Collins neighbors noticed bunnies were cute. Wasn't exactly the word that came to mind. I snapped this photo
Tentacles.
of one of the rabbits I've seen with the growth. I also saw this
Oh my
photo posted on
God.
Reddit, also spotted in Fort Collins.
Like a scabbyish looking kind of.
Ah, poor guy. That sucks.
so they're saying it's just a viral infection. It's very common. It happens all the time, and rabbits sometimes grow horns and tentacles.
Yeah, I don't think we're in the right timeline. It's not the timeline I remember from my childhood. But we could try to enlist these to fight the radiated wasps that are in South Carolina now. Yeah.
Irradiated wasps?
Yeah, they found a wasp nest that had too much radiation.
But the rabbits don't eat bugs.
Well, I don't know. These are mutant rabbits. I don't know how they act.
Fair points.
And there's also Chinese, mosquito drones that are out there. So there's a lot to worry about.
Have you ever seen that movie Parallel?
No.
I recommend that one. It's pretty good. It's about people find a mirror that can go to parallel versions of reality.
Interesting.
And then they go and they steal technology and they do other things. And I forgot why I was going to bring it up, but I remember now, because they kill a guy. Spoiler alert, it's an old movie, but one of the guys dies. So they go in they go into parallel realities. They abuse people. They steal money, and it's money, right? So they can use it here and they get rich and they're ripping people off, stealing ideas. Well, one guy's like banging some chick. He gets shot. He dies. So they're like, what are we going to do if people find out that he died? So they dump his body in a parallel reality and then kidnap a parallel version. But the realities are all slightly different. And so the parallel version doesn't know that they have this mirror. Like in their version of reality, they found the portal, and the other versions they didn't. So then they do this scene where he's like freaking out and shaking. And he's like, when I was a kid, my mom used to read this book to me all the time. And it's called The Callahan Cats. And then the woman is like, what's the problem? There's no G in Callahan.
Nice.
And it was a Mandela effect thing. So I started thinking about it. Agreed. I don't remember growing up and hearing about rabbits with tentacles.
It's new to me. CERN's been kicked on a lot. Yeah, you heard it here first. I don't know. It's certainly weird. And there's been a lot of weird animal stuff happening in the news lately.
Like what?
Well, we talked about the rabbits and python fights that are happening, the fake rabbit robots and the Burmese pythons that they're using.
Rabbit robots are fighting pythons?
They're using fake they're robot rabbits.
They're real robot rabbits.
Real robot rabbits to go after the Burmese pythons in the Everglades.
What?
Yeah, that was last week's news.
And do they look like rabbits?
Yeah, they're your like kids' stuffed animals that they're asking you to donate if you have a stuffed animal. It's a rabbit.
Okay, hold on. They're taking stuffed animals and baiting Burmese, or like they're mechanized and they punch the snake?
I'm hoping they are mechanized, but no, it's not that cool yet. But it will be.
So they were robot rabbits.
Yeah. Yeah, they got something going on. I think they just drop them in there, and they have a thing inside them that makes them have a heat signature that tricks the anaconda. It doesn't say there's any bombs inside, so I don't understand how they're really getting the pythons. But
could you imagine, like, you're a snake
if they turn on humans,
and then you're eating a rabbit, but the rabbit's just plush? You'd be like, this sucks.
Snake.
The world is fake.
This is the worst rabbit I've ever eaten.
And then you explode. Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. So yeah, that's what we talk about in Inverted World Live. You're here first. we got exorcisms tonight. We got this guy coming on talk about his exorcisms. His father was a Satanist turned exorcist, and now he does exorcisms. So
you think the rabbits might be possessed?
Oh, for sure. Look, these things definitely.
Poor little things, man. They got diseases.
Yeah, we're gonna try to exorcise them tonight.
They just want to eat grass.
They want your soul.
Excuse my naivete, but what exactly is an exorcism?
It's pulling the demons out of you.
And is that of a particular religion or
usually Christians?
Christian?
Yeah.
Is there the type of Christian?
Catholics are the ones who do it the most.
Catholics are the exorcists.
Jews don't have exorcisms?
No, I don't know. Yeah. No, I was trying to see if we had something similar.
You believe in demons?
No,
Jews have demons.
Yeah, tell me
I'm
more.
not just. I mean, you're the expert, Elaad. But there are demons, and they also have the golem and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, what's that?
I'm not sure, but how's this exorcism?
Oh, he's diverting. He's diverting.
How's the exorcism performed? Like, what do we do?
There's many ways. It could be done remotely, but typically in person. Power of prayer. They might say stuff, and there's stories where people start projectile vomiting, and they wake up very tired.
Didn't you see the movie?
Bro, I think people
you should watch the movie.
100% they get possessed.
Is this fringe or is this like common?
No, dude.
The Catholic Church
all the time.
performs them.
The Catholic Church
but I don't know if it's
takes it
still
very
like
seriously.
a common practice.
Still a common practice.
Where they're exercising?
Common.
MFers.
I think there's a lot doing it. I mean, just these guys alone have done thousands.
I heard that it's going up.
So, like, if you're a bad Catholic kid, your parents will perform an exorcism on you. Like, I don't know if you're
well, maybe
smoking drugs.
Maybe
or
they
like
might ask. They might ask.
Way
you're a
worse
bad
than
kid.
a bad
They'll
kid.
exercise you.
It depends. It depends how you define bad.
It's like when it's
like an unruly child, like a YN running about in the city.
I don't think it's like
14,
that.
16.
It's like when the Catholic Church decides if someone is going to be canonized as a saint. There are certain criteria that has to be met before they'll even entertain the idea of sending an exorcist out. If they actually do meet a bunch of the criteria or meet the criteria, then the Catholic Church will send an actual exorcist out to actually evaluate the person. Then they'll go report back to probably a cardinal, and they'll be like, all right, this is what I saw, and there should be an exorcism.
Yeah, they do several per day.
The Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
several per day globally.
Yeah.
On Catholics.
No, anybody. Elaad, we're actually about to do one right now. You want to come in, exorcist?
I saw a cool one where
kosher.
I saw one where the guy put a mirror above the girl, And then in the mirror you could see the demon, and then he broke the mirror, and Keanu Reeves was there. that was a good movie.
When I was
Could
younger,
have been better.
I had a
Constantine's a
degenerate-
great character, but that movie was not Constantine.
I had a degenerate buddy of mine when he was younger. His parents were extremely religious, and he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't at all. And like when he was a teenager, they did an exorcism on him, and it just screwed him up more than he was already screwed up. And we used to think it was a joke because I didn't think it was a real thing. But no, I guess they probably
for sure,
literally did
for
this to the
sure.
kid.
Oh yeah, people get possessed, man. On that note,
But the issue, I think, there's a lot of people who say that they don't believe in the spiritual stuff, which I think is silly. Just because we don't know why it happened doesn't mean it did not happen. And so perhaps if you want to say a demon possessed this young girl, you can say, okay, well, hold on. Fine, I don't believe that, but something did happen.
oh yeah, I think there's spiritual warfare happening constantly. And
Yeah.
possession is a very real thing. Not something I used to say a lot. That my attitude towards that has definitely changed, but it's changed from seeing what I believe are demons in real life, especially the ones that go after children.
Give me an
The
example.
Demon Hunter story. When I went out with Alex Rosen to do that pedophile story and captured those guys who were going after little girls and looking at their faces, you look like you're looking past the skin suit into straight up evil. And they can't contain it. He pooped himself right in front of us. It was disgusting. Yeah, dude, and it was those, and that's just one group of guys who do it, and they do it all the time. Alex works every day, all the time, catching these guys.
Have you seen the movie Constantine?
No.
So the DC character Constantine is fantastic. He's kind of like a Doctor Strange for DC.
Yeah.
When they made the first movie with Keanu Reeves, they said that there's half-breeds, angels and demons that walk among us. And the demons basically, when you spray them with holy water, their skin breaks off and you can see their demon form.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go around DC and try that.
But I mean, aside from the fact that the guy pooped himself and you can see the evil, like, have you, aside from that, witnessed something that was like Exorcist style, like head spinning or?
Not like that, no. But I've just seen a lot of evil personally in my life, whether it's people trying to get after children, and not even in that story. I've had to chase people out.
I got to tell you, that's not really all that compelling to me.
Yeah.
Saying that sometimes people are evil doesn't mean they're demons. What I've witnessed is people that I knew have their personalities change overnight.
For sure.
And this was during COVID.
For sure.
It was like, call it mass formation psychosis.
Yeah.
But there were people that I knew that within the span of 3 weeks, it was like they were a different person.
Yep.
As if I jumped into a portal and I was in a different reality, or they were possessed.
And I think people get possessed, and some are better at hiding it. And then something switches, and all of a sudden you can see, like when we caught these guys, they're normal-ish, and then all of a sudden they know they're caught like an animal in a trap, and you just see something change in their eyes. I don't think it has to be. I think a demon just wants to destroy innocent people and feed off human suffering. So it's like it doesn't have to be like what you see at the head spinning. I think it's just anything that goes after trying to destroy the innocent is evil. And we're surrounded by it.
If you're going to go to D.C. to try and throw holy water on some young people.
Shift. Oh, I wasn't even thinking the young people. I was thinking politicians.
Yeah. If
Clinton.
You'll get arrested.
Same circumstances.
Okay, true.
They'll call it assault.
I'll give you some body armor to wear. It's because if you're going to throw anything at Congress,
is that bad?
Probably
No, but like
bad?
if you have one of those, like they have those shakers where it just puts drops of holy water,
right?
They'll legit arrest you for assault.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe worth it.
They're gonna be like, Mr. Schiff, how did you get those burns? And he's gonna be like, he assaulted me.
I mean, if you throw holy water on Adam Schiff, it will likely look like you're throwing acid on a normal human being.
Sorry, I'm trying to save people.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to save people.
We just got breaking news, but I know you're gonna run.
Well, let me hear this, and I'm gonna run out.
Hannity's reporting a Democrat whistleblower has claimed Adam Schiff authorized the leaking of classified information to smear Donald Trump.
Ruh-roh.
Oh, man.
Continues to unravel, according to our friend John Solomon, and a new report tonight just out, and he will join us in just a moment. A Democrat whistleblower repeatedly was warning the FBI beginning in 2017 that the congenital liar Adam Schiff had authorized leaking classified information to smear President Trump, which, by the way, could be a violation of the Espionage Act. Here with more on this breaking report.
So we knew he was doing that. It was all very obvious, but I'm glad we've got some confirmation.
Lock him up. It was a great show. Thank you guys. You can find me on Inverted World Live at Rumble and YouTube. We'll be live from 10 to 12. Phone calls. We take phone calls. Phone lines are open till midnight. And we'll see you there. Thanks, guys.
We got to jump to Super Chats. We're going to grab your chats. Smash the like button. Share the show with everyone you know. And then, of course, at 10, we've got the members-only uncensored show coming up, where we're going to take questions from you guys on the Timcast Discord server. And if you want to watch, it's for premium Rumble members. Use promo code TIM10. Sign up today. Support the network, man. It's more important than ever that we actually stand and I'll put it this way. All these networks are collapsing. Businesses are all operating at losses. Everybody's freaking out. It seems like the media economy is in trouble. This just means that you guys support the shows that you know and love. If it's not us, it's somebody else, then support them. But now more than ever, you need to be involved. I'm hoping that our Timcast Discord community is the community that will help lift you up. They've put on great parties. They're incredible. So you get to call into the show when you join the Timcast Discord server at timcast.com. Before we get to that, though, we got a great sponsor. It is pdsdebt.com, my friends. Let me tell you, the system ain't broken. It's rigged. And if you're buried in debt, that's exactly how they want it. Big banks profit when you're desperate. Creditors win when you lose, but you don't have to play their game. PDS Debt helps you take back control. They've helped hundreds of thousands break free from credit cards, loans, high-interest traps. It's your money. It's your future. It's time to fight for both. PDS Debt goes beyond the numbers to understand your unique financial situation and craft a personalized plan designed for you. There's no minimum credit score required. They're here to help you save more, pay off your debt faster, and start putting money back where it belongs in your pocket. They are A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, boasting thousands of 5-star reviews on Google, holding a 5-star rating on Trustpilot. Why? Because PDS has helped hundreds of thousands of people get out of debt. You're 30 seconds away from being debt-free. Get your free assessment. Find the best option at pdsdebt.com/Tim. That's pdsdebt.com/Tim. Shout out. Let's grab your rants and super chats. Mason says, Tim, if your ghost census hypothesis is correct, then the murder rates in these cities would be far higher, since cities where they would most likely pad the numbers. Yup. So that DC number could actually be way higher if the population is smaller and they're lying. So the per capita could be crazier.
I think there's also like an issue with how a lot of crimes are reported. These are obviously only crimes that do get reported, and then there's like breakdowns on how many are actually solved or something. So like we're not getting a clear picture out of these police reports.
I think under Biden, didn't LA like literally just not give crime statistics?
Yeah.
To the FBI?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what we're dealing with.
Eric Shaver says, if a country can't keep track of the number of people it has, how can they keep track of the amount of money it has? Yep. Trump should conscript the Red Army to displace all public housing and low-income residents to a reservation 50 miles outside of every major city. After all, that's what white flight was. Ha. All right, Dimension 14B says, the left needs census fraud, illegal immigration, lawfare, unrest, and high crime. They are not our neighbors with different opinions. Their intention is to destabilize and destroy the U.S. Yeah. Shooter 4432 says, please welcome our baby girl to the world. She was born yesterday. Eliza Grace, a healthy baby girl. What do you think about hospitals trying to induce babies a lot more now? I think that's basically the practice. I think in inducing the labor is normal for all of them. Yeah, they do it for every single baby. They're like, you don't want the baby to stay in too long, so we're going to say now's the time.
If they induce it, like it doesn't have to be a C-section if they induce, correct? Okay.
Bill Dozier says, Kirk Cameron warned us, the rapture, Tim, we've been left behind. Well, Kirk Cameron's still here, so he got left behind too, I guess. Rothlo says, Elaad lands in Tel Aviv. He hears a spectral voice saying in Hebrew, if you build it, they will come. Then Elaad finds his life mission, disproving the dead Israel theory. Go Elaad, go Tel Aviv, go to Tel Aviv.
You guys will never get rid of me as an American citizen. I'm never leaving.
It was funny because Sean thought Elaad was Indian.
Sean thought I don't go to the White House.
He thought, wait, even though you were like here doing the White House reporting, he didn't believe it.
No, he was like, dude, I don't even know if you ever go there. And I was like, it's like, shit, man, are you trying to get me fired? I don't know.
I was saying some interesting things the other day.
It was just today in the green room show. He was like, well, Elaad's Indian. And we were like, what?
Like, this guy's coming
Jewish.
For me. Stripped me of my best quality, my jewelry.
I said, he's not Indian, he's Pakistani. And then we called up and I was like, settle the debate for us. Are you Pakistani or Indian?
Odd. An oddball.
Yeah, it was funny. All right, what do we have here? Let's see. Bulldozer says Shane and Vince are correct on Israel. Elaad needs to stop using a dreidel as. I'm not reading that. Okay.
It's not Hanukkah yet. I can't use the dreidel.
Eric Shaver says homosexuality in men is projected on them by women who don't find them attractive. As much as women love babies, they would never give the last man on earth a choice. It's a coping mechanism.
Gay theory.
I guess. And then Dwimrel. If Phil dislikes AI so much, he's really going to hate Neurosama and evil.
I'm the only person here that's actually pro AI. I don't know what the hell
I
you're
think it's a
talking about.
scam, is what I think.
Yeah, there's
AI?
a lot of
It's all
people
just
that-
Indians.
No, I think there are some practical uses for it, but I think it's greatly exaggerated by like the top 20 stocks in the American economy to keep the economy propped up right now. If it were to come out right now that AI doesn't produce half as much as they promised, then our economy would totally crash right now, because our economy, again, is propped up by the top 7 tech stocks who are heavily, heavily propped up because of the marketability of AI.
I sent you a text message with a video, a clip of the All In podcast this weekend. That as soon as I listened to it, I thought of you. Watch it and at least expand your understanding of what AI is.
People's belief in AI is almost to the point of a religious zealotry. It has to be true at this point, also as a fact of the markets, to keep the markets in place. But the way these tech CEOs talk about AI is almost religious fanaticism, frankly.
How?
Because they are saying, oh, this huge technology that is definitely going to change our lives in this manifest way in X amount of years, that is going to have a substantial change on all of our lives, on how we do everything.
It's not
And
religious.
I feel like it does sound religious, frankly. No,
sounds like the guy's investing in a company.
Their commitment to their ideas and the power of AI sounds like religious zealotry to me.
I think you're exaggerating because you don't like AI.
No, I mean, I think it's exaggerated on what it could do, and I think there's a big bubble that's going to pop in the next 5 years.
Yeah,
I think its application in real life is being overpromised and will underdeliver.
The video,
and we'll see how it goes and how this pans out.
Listen, the video.
It makes no sense to me how we have seen the evolution of AI over the past few years, and it's been exponential and insane. And there are people like you who are like, I plug in your ears and be like, it's not happening, it's not happening.
This is not trying to be a criticism of you, but you're talking about AI from a place of ignorance. You don't know anything about AI. You're like, oh, it's all just LLMs, etc. It's all AI is not LLMs. You already see AI used in many, many applications every single day, and you don't even think about it. The chess bot that people play, like when you're playing against the computer, that's all AI. When you see video games, the non-player characters, that's all AI. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. But the idea that it's all the same and that it's all just about investment, that's totally wrong. And the video that I sent you points to the fact that a lot of the investment that goes into AI is being spent on actual chips like the GPUs, and the GPUs burn up. These are physical things. One of the reasons why there was such a big bubble with the internet when it was starting, it was actually a telecommunications bubble, and they talk about this. But what they were doing was they were laying the foundation for the internet. They were laying the underground wires across the ocean and installing what we use as an internet infrastructure. And it was a big initial investment, and the bubble popped because all of this stuff that was put in took time to be utilized. The AI that's being used nowadays, the money that's going into it are going into actual GPUs that literally melt when they get overused. So it's an actual physical thing in the real world that gets produced, and they buy it, and you're talking about, but 50 grand for one of them.
Not just that, movie studios have already said they're laying off their VFX departments.
True.
And they're doing all their movies in AI. And Phil and I have been sitting here with these AI songs that I played a song on my acoustic guitar. I played a riff that I wrote. It was a minute long, loaded it into an AI, and then said, finish the song, and it finished a 4-minute song based off of my riff with full mastering, background, ambience, bass, everything. It's crazy. And it's remarkable to me that people are like, AI will never capture the true soul of music. And it's like, it will create a facsimile that, agreed, you're not going to get those imperfections of, Bob Marley or whoever, but it's going to be indistinguishable to the average person. Indistinguishable. And it's going to eliminate. Already, I saw a post a month ago where it was like, You can actually go into most LLMs and ask it to isolate a certain job that can be fully automated, and it'll break down automating a specific job. It's happening. There's going to be an AI revolution where people are already marrying these robots. They are getting a degree of a facsimile of human interaction that's wiping their brains. So all this is happening. It's happening before your eyes. You're just choosing not to engage.
I want to ask you to put some numbers to it. So how soon, within 10 years, what percent of our jobs in America do you think will disappear as a result of AI?
Well, as of right now, I mean, so we can do some, we can look it up. How many people work in VFX in 2024? Let's see what it says. So there's 582 VFX houses between 31 and 117,000 employees. So I can estimate that within a year or two, those jobs will be gone.
I don't think all of those jobs will be gone. Somebody will still have
80%?
to put these movies together. I think
No. The VFX people are not the people putting the movies together. These the movie production companies outsource certain scenes to VFX houses. So they will film a scene. A good example in Superman. There was a trailer where Superman's walking and someone throws a can at his head and he blinks. People made fun of it, saying it's Superman. Why would that happen? So they edited it to make it so it doesn't blink. That kind of stuff gets outsourced to VFX houses. The movie production is production companies. So that's why when you see a movie, it'll say like 5 different companies were involved in making it. The VFX houses are gone. Music production studios are going to be gone.
So it's not that I don't think there will be no utility to AI. I do believe that there will be utility to AI, maybe on the edge cases. I'm not even especially compelled by the examples that you're given. Oh, in music and in movies. I don't think these are economy-changing initiatives and types of technology. I don't think this justifies the quadrupling, the 4, 5, 6x times that we're seeing on the top 7 stock markets that are just constantly bolstering their different alleged AI products and how it's involved in their technology.
That is remarkably ignorant. The recorded music industry is a $17.7 billion revenue generator per year.
Sure, and I think this technology will have influences on our economy, but I think people are overpromising.
All that money is still going to exist because it largely comes from consumers, people consuming the music. That $17.7 billion will likely grow and be isolated into a few small hands of the IP owners.
Have you seen NVIDIA stock over the past 5 years?
And?
Yeah.
I'm saying, have you seen it? Do you believe that its valuation is justified based on the AI technology that's propping it up, right?
Based on the fact
it's probably a little high.
The products that they develop get used up, and they're continuing to make newer and faster chips, right? So these GPUs actually get used up. They have a life. And so every time they develop a new chip that's faster, you're making a product. This isn't some kind of bubble where there's nothing there. They're making a physical product that is being used in the real world, and they get hot. That's a big reason why they need all that, the air conditioning systems and stuff like that for all these data centers. They use them up.
Wow, dude. The movie industry employs approximately 2.32 million people, paying a staggering $229 billion in wages annually. Now imagine that amount of money. Let's just say those jobs, 2.3 million jobs, and a good portion of them are gone. Gone. That's what AI is going to do. The movie and entertainment industry is massive. You're not going to need all these subscription services, all the hundreds of millions they spend making a Spider-Man movie, don't need to do it anymore. It can be 10 people in a room brainstorming and then clicking a button on Google to make the movie. They're gonna need a script writer and a compliance director or whatever, and then they're gonna have their executive producer. The script writer's gonna make it. He's gonna say, I don't even want to read the script. Just load it and I'll watch the film. They're gonna sit down and watch it and then go some artifacting there and there. Spider-Man should throw a punch there, and it's gonna take a week or two to tweak it and get those things right, and then the movie is complete. And it's gonna be 3 guys, and they are gonna make most of that money themselves personally.
I hope I'm wrong about AI, because if I'm not, then our economy will have a big correction to make with how much our top 10 stocks are heavily invested in.
And it sounds like
investing.
you are trying to argue that AI won't affect us because you desperately want to believe.
I said it will affect us and it will have impacts on our economy. I'm saying that it's not justified in the valuation of how these stock prices are shooting up as a result of their marketing of AI. I think they're being very clever in how they're marketing their different AI and large language models. And I don't think the shoot up in the stock of like Google or Meta or again like Nvidia or Taiwan Semiconductor is justified.
You have no basis for that.
In these markets. No, because it's like 50 times their PEs. It's like again these companies are overvalued by a ton.
Nvidia makes things. If you are like, okay, look, the processing, the software that they're writing these LLMs on or whatever, if that's the thing that you're criticizing, maybe there's an argument. But again, Nvidia makes the most advanced GPUs that are being used in these data
We're out of time, but basically, if you're arguing that a company that makes a physical product that is consumed isn't worth what it's selling, that's a weird, like, fine, I guess. But your argument is that AI isn't actually going to be as useful. That is a meritless opinion.
My argument is that over the past 2.5 years, Nvidia stock has shot up 1,500%.
And their
has
sales?
a PE ratio of 60.
And their sales?
I don't have their revenue sales, but for their PE,
so you
their
realize
PE
you're talking.
ratio, their
So
PE
what?
ratio is close to 60. That means it's way overvalued. That means as to compared to what they're earning, their stock is extremely overvalued. If you guys, right? Do you understand
Yes,
what a
so
PE
what?
ratio is? So that's what I think. I think that AI as a marketing tool, it's clever marketing to make these stocks extremely overvalued. That's my point.
Elaad, do you know why Nvidia stock is going up?
Yeah, because of AI hype.
You are wrong.
No, it's
Crypto.
AI hype. I think that has something.
GPUs are used for crypto mining, and that sparked the initial burst in the GPU stocks.
Tim, when Nvidia mentions AI, is when their stock market is when their stock share shoots up. That's what's happening in the
The
market.
reason why Nvidia started skyrocketing was because the expansion of crypto. AI is a big component recently, but you've got crypto, Bitcoin, that massive expansion over the past 10 years caused a massive spike in the demand for GPUs because GPUs are used to mine cryptocurrencies, largely Bitcoin.
Correct.
And that is the reason why Nvidia started selling like crazy.
There's also the very vanilla reason of video games are the most popular form of entertainment, and GPUs are used in all of your PC video games.
We're going to go to the uncensored portion of the show, my friends, so smash that like button, share the show with everyone you know. I'm going to say it again. Share the show if you do like it. Tell your friends about it. Word of mouth is the most powerful way to build a show, and we do appreciate it. The counter revolution to the AI is going to be community. So the more people that join the Discord server, the more people that are in the chat room on Rumble or YouTube, the better off we are going to be. The more people that are meeting in physical space and actually talking to each other, that's what needs to happen. So join us over for the Uncensored Show at rumble.com/Timcast IRL. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Vince, do you want to shout anything out?
Yeah, you can go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just search up my name. You'll find it.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I am Elaad Eliyahu, the White House correspondent and AI non-believer, resident AI denier of the company. Phil,
You're not the resident. You're among many people that are skeptical to hostile towards AI. I am Phil That Remains on Twix. The band is All That Remains. You can check out our newest album, Anti-Fragile, on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, and Deezer. Don't forget the left lane is for crime.
We will see you all at rumble.com/Timcast IRL. Thanks for hanging out.